Good evening and welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi coming to you live from Washington, D.C., the belly of the beast itself. Earlier today, I was at the White House with Angie. We were picking up our press credentials. Let me tell you something, the timing is almost prophetic because today is President Trump's 25th day back in power, and it may go down as one of the most consequential days in American history. Now, we're streaming live to millions worldwide on YouTube, Rumble, and X platforms. They haven't managed to silence yet, and tonight you're going to understand why they're so desperate to shut shows like this one down. But first, as you're watching the stream, I need you to do something important. Take out your phone and text this link to 3 people you trust. Why? Because big tech is trying to bury this broadcast. They don't want what we're about to show you to spread. But of course, we know better, don't we? And to our loyal viewers already flooding the chat, I see you guys. Wow, the messages are coming in fast and furious. The super chats and rumble rants, they will be featured on screen between segments. The whole world will hear what real Americans think about what's happening in our country. And we've also got, 25th day of Donald Trump's historic return to the White House. And just hours after I picked up these press credentials, that's right, everything changed. President Trump didn't just drain the swamp, he detonated it. In a few hours, we're going to show you 5 stories that will change everything you thought you knew about what's really happening in this city. Yes, the DOGE agents are sleeping on the floors of the bureaucracy across the city. But the mass firings of Biden's DOJ cronies, yeah, we're going to talk about that, but more importantly, what they were hiding. RFK Jr.'s confirmation as Health and Human Services Secretary. The vote has Big Pharma in complete meltdown. Linda McMahon's education revolution. Why the teachers' unions are in panic mode. And the DOGE committee's shocking discoveries, billions of your tax dollars. Just wait. The border breakthrough they said was impossible. Yes, ICE is back and the sanctuary cities are crumbling, but here's the truth. We can't keep bringing you these stories alone. The powers that be want us gone. That's why we need your support. The links to donate are in the description. Every dollar helps us keep exposing what they want hidden to millions of Americans. And speaking of making a statement, our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, link below. Yes, we've got some exclusive Next News gear. Grab a hat or a MAG Avengers cap. It's not just merchandise. It's a message to the establishment. We're not backing down. And for those joining our channel membership program, yes, you are about to get exclusive access to content they definitely don't want you to see, plus special acknowledgement in the chat. And to our members, yes, you've already seen a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff going on in my trip throughout Washington, D.C. today. Your super chats, yes, they get priority between segments because unlike the mainstream media, we actually care what real Americans think. So stay with us. Share the stream, join the fight, because tonight, from the heart of D.C., we're not just reporting the news, we are making it. And after what we're about to show you, nothing will ever be the same. So we've got a lot to get with tonight. Bombshell dropping hours ago, announcement that shook the entire DOJ to its core. But first, let's welcome you guys to the show. Sabrina's here, Mountain Goddess, Heal for Real. What's up? Resiness is in the house. We've got Cindy Lou and Janet Castro. Who else is here? We've got Tim Fantastic. We got Lorijo Narad and Saturn Net 1. Who else? We got Velvet and Lace. What's up? We got Robert Steigerwald in the house. We got Lori J. We got Reese, Brad, and Frosty Sprinkles. Yes. Pothead Kenny in the house. What's up, Pothead Kenny? We got Ann Bolin in the house. Dr. Dab is here. Starts like this with some underscores between his name. We got Val Anderson, Linda Stewart, Ruthie. We've got Tom B. 420, Mountain Goddess, Disabled Outcast, Kathleen Covington, Marnie Savick. Everybody is in the house. Yeah, you guys are, wow. Do you guys see what happened today? You guys been following us on X? You guys know. And to our members, too, you guys know what's really going on behind the scenes. Bonnie Aldi, we've got Sabrina, we got Leroy, we got Heather. What's up, Heather? We've got Jennifer Kerr and Evan in the house. We've got Craig, Mai Wallace, Velvet and Lace, Dead Messenger, JG, Tartwork, Knight Rider 455, Nathaniel Hemmings, Terry Abner, Bonnie Aldi, Phoenix Benjamin in the house, Jeremy Olson, what's up? What's up? Southern Gal, Seth Alexander, Steve May, Vito Via, everybody's here. Ninja Noise, what's up, Ninja Noise? I like that name. And Weasels Are Us dropping the first. Is this the first super chat of the evening? It looks like it. A Shiba dog laughing slightly while blushing and covering his mouth with one arm. Well, Weasels for us. Thank you for for making that first super chat of the night. Okay, we got a lot of news to get into tonight, and let's start off with our first topic of the evening. It is President's Day 25. Let's get into it. So what happens when the most powerful man in the world decides to clean house? Well, not just any house, the entire Department of Justice. Well, earlier today, I watched the mainstream media squirm in the White House press room as the announcement came down. All 93 Biden-appointed prosecutors fired, gone, just like that. But here's what nobody's talking about: the timing. Why now? Why all at once? The same day that Trump announces reciprocal tariffs that have China scrambling, the same day the DOGE committee exposes billions in waste. Oh, and did anyone notice who's being appointed to replace them? The pieces are all falling into place, and the picture is stunning. And as President Trump reshapes American trade policy with these new tariffs, one thing is becoming crystal clear: the global financial system is about to undergo a massive shift. China's reaction: well, they're buying gold, lots of it, and they're not alone. The BRICS nations are stockpiling precious metals at an unprecedented rate. Why? Because they know what's coming. That's why I trust Noble Gold. They understand that gold isn't just an investment. It is protection against global uncertainty. Visit Next News Gold today, and with a qualified purchase, nextnewsgold.com, that's the website. With a qualified purchase, you will receive 10 1-ounce silver American Eagle coins absolutely free. The number on the screen, 877-646-5347. And we thank Noble Gold Investments for their sponsorship. Okay, lots to get into. As you may know, this is what happened. We have the press credentials that we just received at the White House. An exciting day for us at the Next News Network. But equally as exciting, Anna Paulina Luna has just released a formal video detailing the new task force. Remember this? This is the task force that's supposed to be declassifying all of the secret records. JFK, 9/11, Martin Luther King, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, Epstein client list, all of these things. So she's got it right now. Let's check this out, what she just put out.
Client list and the task force on the declassification of federal secrets has been organized under the House Oversight Committee and represents a historic step towards transparency and delivering answers to the American people. President Trump has already taken steps to deliver to the American people information that for far too long has been kept under the federal government's lock and key through classification. Under Executive Order 14176, President Trump has directed the federal government to prepare reports regarding the declassification of records regarding the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. The task force will also examine agencies' knowledge and possession of documents regarding other areas of significant public interest, including UAPs, the origins of COVID-19, the Epstein client list, and details surrounding the death of Osama bin Laden in Operation Neptune Spear. Our first hearing is March and will focus on the assassination of President Kennedy. We have already engaged with relevant agencies to provide briefings this month regarding the universe of documents connected to these areas of interest. Upon receiving these briefings, we'll move immediately to review documents and, if necessary, earmark them for release to the American people. The task force will travel as necessary to conduct research and meet with relevant witnesses and experts who may also be called to speak in a public setting. We will work closely with the committee to provide transparency through hearings, reports, and the release of documents. It's important to note that we don't have documents yet, and we also don't hold declassification authority. The task force seeks to operate with coordination with the administration to ensure that the American people receive the documents needed to answer questions that we have been all asking for far too long. We will regain the trust of the American people through transparency.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Oh, man. But she said something there that kind of caught my attention, that they're going to earmark certain things. Why would you earmark it? Just give it all to us, right? That's what the American people want. They want the truth. And speaking of trying to understand things, we had this that happened today at the joint press conference with the Prime Minister of India. This was kind of a funny moment.
Go louder.
As being raising anti-India voice, calling about separation terrorism activities in India. Do you think that should continue here in the US as well?
You're going to have to go louder.
Mr. President, people in India would be welcoming your decision to extradite Tahabur Rana to...
I can't understand a word he's saying.
May I, sir? May I? May I, sir?
Go ahead back there.
Yeah, can't understand a word he's saying. Let's just hope that it was related to the microphone problems. Okay, so as you know, I was there at the White House today, and this is a special message that I recorded from the podium inside the White House press room just for you.
Guys, all right, here we are inside the White House press room. It is pretty exciting, to say the least, that we're actually here. 20 years of hard work, and your guys' dedication to our reporting has made it all possible. And it's exciting to see everybody in the room. This is what it looks like. There we go. So I'm excited. I know you guys are too. So there will be more.
There will be more indeed. This story is not over yet. And we've got this. The senior counselor for trade and manufacturing, Peter Navarro, sets the record straight on President Trump's tariffs. You know, there's a lot of disinformation and misinformation. Well, the difference between the two is one is kind of like, you know, an accident and one is intentional. But of course, we're talking about CNN here. And CNN, you know, does a lot of intentional disinformation. Speaking of CNN, I did run into Caitlin Collins in the White House press room. She kind of walked past me a couple times, and I turned around and she was gone. She disappeared behind some door. I kind of tried looking for her, but you know, she was gone like a ghost. I was going to get a selfie with her and maybe post it and have some fun with it, but unfortunately that did not happen. But maybe there will be other opportunities. So let's see what happened with Peter Navarro when he appeared on CNN today.
As we learned from the historic China tariffs, the steel and aluminum tariffs, the tariffs on dishwashers and all of that, is we didn't get any inflation at all. We got price stability, but more importantly, we got our jobs back, and life was good in America. There's a long process I can go through and explain why inflation really won't be a big problem, if a problem at all. And it starts with things like when these big exporting countries face a higher tariff, they have to sell to us. So what's the first thing they do, Jake, is they lower their prices. So that takes a bite out of any inflation. Then they mess around with their currencies. They manipulate them, or as the trade deficit goes down, the currency goes down. That gives us more purchasing power. That's another bite. Supply chains adjust. And equally important, Jake, for workers in America, as we get more investment here because of the tariffs, we got $15 billion when we put the steel tariffs in last time. Productivity goes up. As
but I'm not the one who talks
up. Wages go up, and that means more purchasing power. Right. We learned from the historic China.
Turd tapper there, like, oh, wait, tariffs bad, right? Oh yeah, here's another picture. Moments after I got into the press room, and we are in. Here's more from. This is my first official report from the White House press room today.
White House press room. All right, we are now inside the White House press room. Prime Minister Modi has just arrived, and we didn't see President Trump out there to greet him personally, but the anticipation for their meeting is only growing. Despite the absence, the arrival today's schedule includes a highly anticipated press conference and a dinner we expect President Trump and the Prime Minister of India to showcase their strong bilateral relationship. The press conference is set to be a platform where both leaders can focus on their national interests and lay out a vision for the future, U.S.-India ties as well. America First policy is clearly going to be taking center stage. Now, this could lead to more announcements of new deals with respect to the president's interests putting forward while fostering a mutually beneficial partnership with India. Now, the dinner tonight, of course, not just about diplomacy, but it is about a celebration of the personal and strategic bond between Trump and Modi. It's a chance for both leaders to strengthen their rapport, which has been pivotal in advancing U.S.-India relations to new heights under Trump's leadership. We're only just a little more than 3 weeks into this new administration, and we are seeing radical things happening at breakneck speed. So this is a new era for this country as we're witnessing it in real time right here in the White House press room. So stay tuned as we cover this significant event, bringing you insights into how the president is going to execute his strategies with the Prime Minister of India and see how this continues to shape their global alliances. So stay tuned. We'll have more later.
There it is. They're back in the suit, guys. What do you think? I'm back in the suit, baby. Okay, we've got some more rapid response. 47 White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller had this to say about President Trump in saving thousands of lives already.
Have been blocked. President Trump has already saved thousands of lives just by the people he's kept out of the country these last 3 weeks. Do you have any idea how many criminals, how many potential terrorists, how many security threats have been blocked and denied and prevented and deterred from even trying to enter the country? A 95% reduction in illegal crossings. There are mothers all over this country who will sleep safely tonight because of what Donald Trump has done. That is what the American people voted for, not the chaos and bloodshed of Gavin Newsom and Kathy Hochul and all of these blue state governors and blue state mayors who have forced their people to live in violence and misery.
Well, we know what's happening in New York now. The indictments are coming down. The investigations are beginning. And here we have more from the Rapid Response Channel. This is the official White House channel. President Trump is operating at a next level right now, something that I just mentioned to you from the press room.
National Prayer Breakfast, the Gulf. President Trump, it was fantastic being a governor underneath him in my first term and back in the first Trump administration. But he's operating at a next level right now. I mean, the first time around, he was courageous. This time, he's fearless. The ideas he has that he's driving forward on cutting waste and spending, being with him, whether it's at a national prayer breakfast, renaming the Gulf of America, or negotiating with the Prime Minister of Japan about an 800-mile natural gas pipeline in Alaska. Everything he's doing is 180 degrees different from the Biden administration, and he's delivering on all the promises, and that's fantastic. And one of those promises was he was going to make government more efficient. And I'm a complete supporter of this. When I became governor of North Dakota, we cut 27% out of the general fund. I know it can be done. This example you just talked about at Iron Mountain is we've got to give people that work in government the tools. The technology is so outdated that we're asking people to do paperwork instead of computer work.
Yeah, he's talking about that mine where it takes hours to go and descend into the mine so they can file paperwork for retirements in government. And it's all changing thanks to President Trump and his initiatives. Here is the press secretary. I did not have an opportunity to meet her today, but she did have these remarks with News Nation about inflation as we're only 25 days into this presidency.
The Biden. Well, first of all, let me say that the inflation report released yesterday was not a surprise. However, it does prove that the Biden administration left us with a mess. Inflation, this was the last inflation report from the Biden White House. And it shows that it's an indictment on their mismanagement of that crisis that was ongoing for the past 4 years. And so there's a lot of work to be done, but President Trump and our entire team are committed to doing it. And he already has taken significant steps to lower costs for American families. Number one, he signed an executive order to launch a massive deregulatory campaign. We know more regulation leads to higher inflation. President Trump also declared a national energy emergency. We are going to drill, baby, drill, just as he promised on the campaign trail and also committed to during his first term, which we know led to record low inflation. The president is also committed to historic tax cuts, which will ultimately put more money back into the pockets of the American people. And so there's a lot of work that's going on across the entire administration to put more money back in Americans' pockets and to drive down prices. Well, first of all,
yeah, so don't believe when they start complaining on the mainstream press about, oh, the price of eggs, look what President Trump did. And then they fail to mention that Joe Biden ordered the destruction of millions of chickens across America. Here we have more from President Trump's new press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, about President Trump and how he loves New York City and what's going to happen next.
This administration, President Trump loves New York. It's his home state. He helped build the New York City skyline as it exists today before he decided to run for president. And he's taking a serious action across this administration to make New York great again. And it's so sad to see what has happened to New York City, which has once the envy of the world and has now turned into a dumping ground for illegal immigrants from all over the world. And this administration is no longer going to allow that to happen. This lawsuit, this very strong lawsuit by Attorney General Pam Bondi, is great for the people of New York, for law-abiding citizens, but most importantly for law enforcement, because the 2019 radical law barred federal law enforcement from communicating with state authorities on the immigration status of individuals who are committing crimes in New York City and throughout the state. And so kudos to the Attorney General for filing this lawsuit. And President Trump will continue to speak out and put pressure on Letitia James and Governor Hochul to do what's right for law-abiding New Yorkers who have been put last because of their radical policies, especially over the past 4 years with the help of the Biden-Harris administration. President
Trump's going to make New York great again. We've got this rapid response. Secretary Rubio says the America's golden age begins now. Interesting how he said not the United States. He said the Americas. Yes, North America, Central America, South America, because we are going down there. We're going to stop all of this illegal human smuggling. We're going to get the Panama Canal under control. And Rubio is, he's carrying the big stick for Donald Trump right now as Secretary of State. Here we have this from the Washington Times 10 hours ago. America's two most powerful allies in the Indo-Pacific have so far responded with low-key prudence after President Trump moved forward on his threat to impose 25% tariffs on imports of aluminum and steel products that go into effect next month. So they are just watching and waiting to see how it all unfolds. Here we have from the Amuse Trump effect. All 13 Canadian premiers gave up on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and are going to the White House to negotiate with the Trump administration on tariffs. This was just announced 11 hours ago.
Lawmakers. CTV News has learned that all 13 Canada's premiers, who are currently all in Washington, will be going to the White House as a group later today as they continue to make their case to try and avert a trade war between Canada and the United States. There are a couple of unprecedented things here. First of all, we've never seen all 13 premiers go to Washington at the same time at once together as a group. That's number one. Number two,
think about what he's saying there. They're basically completely circumventing Justin Trudeau because he's on the way out. He is completely powerless. So they have to take measures into their own hands. Now, of course, I was in the White House today and I didn't hear anything about the Canadian premiers being in town, going to the White House. Everyone was focused on the Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister Modi, going there. Which was pretty remarkable to witness all the pomp and circumstance for that visit. But I didn't hear anything about the Canadians, so this is interesting.
meeting for them at the White House. We don't know if President Trump will attend. Could be the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. A lot of unknowns here, but they will be going to the White House. We know the premiers in Washington, they've been meeting with anyone they can in terms of U.S. lawmakers, lobbyists, business leaders over the last couple of days. Here's more from Doug Ford, who is the Premier of Ontario.
They don't realize how resilient Canadians are, and we take pride in being Canadian. That doesn't mean that we can't have an incredible trade relationship with our closest ally and friend. And if you talk to the American people, again, they love Canadians. Canadians love Americans. We're so interconnected on supply chains and everything else, and even on the culture, we're connected. We need to get this deal done and move forward as quickly as possible.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of Canadians that want to be 51st state too. So we'll see how that unfolds. Okay, so what else do we have here? This is when the announcement came down 7 hours ago. President Trump announcing reciprocal tariffs. Now, we talked about this the other night, and this is an old law that's been dusted off the books, and President Trump is enacting it basically like, okay, you guys want to play games? Well, then we're going to do reciprocal. Tariff for tariff, tariff for tariff. So President Trump just throwing down the gauntlet, says, you guys want to play hardball? Well, guess what? We've got the biggest economy in the world. Good luck with you.
You look at what they're charging. And on trade, I have decided for purposes of fairness that I will charge a reciprocal tariff, meaning whatever countries charge the United States of America, we will charge them. No more, no less. In other words, they charge us a tax or tariff, and we charge them the exact same tax or tariff. Very simple. Nobody knows what that number is unless you go by the individual country. You can see what it is if you go to the individual country and you look at what they're charging us. In almost all cases, they're charging us vastly more than we charge them, but those days are over.
Those days are over, says President Trump. And if you think about the significance of what he just said there, you guys, anything you tariff on our goods, an equal measure. So it's gonna trigger a ripple effect throughout the global economy. Buckle up. It's exciting to watch. So, but don't believe the lies. Everyone's going to try and do the scare tactics. Oh, don't do it. But we have this. President Trump, 10 hours ago, you're fired. He's begun firing the remaining federal prosecutors that were appointed by Joe Biden. Since the Bill Clinton era, it's been routine for incoming presidents to fire the previous administration's federal prosecutors. So the Biden prosecutors, the ones that persecuted President Trump and executed all that lawfare, bye-bye, gone. Go find a new job. I'm sure they'll find another job somewhere in the private sector with their resume. So they're not going to be in that bad of shape, but at least they won't be in a position to inflict further harm against President Trump and the United States and America First agenda. Here we have another headline from Newsweek. Donald Trump fires Biden-appointed U.S. attorneys. Yes, 93 federal prosecutors that were appointed by Biden, all now in the unemployment line. Benny Johnson, 10 hours ago, also stating Trump fired all federal prosecutors appointed by Biden. You're fired. I love it. And here we have more. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett also talking tariffs. Last year, he said we mailed foreign governments $370 billion in taxes. Good God.
Bad for consumers.
Nearly all economists have said that tariffs will be bad for the American consumer. So what does the president know here on tariffs that seemingly every other economist doesn't?
That it's just false that it's necessarily bad for consumers. And a way to think about it is imagine right now, we did the estimate that last year, U.S. U.S.-based companies paid foreign governments $370 billion in taxes. Meanwhile, foreign companies paid the U.S. $57 billion in taxes. So we mailed foreign governments $370 billion in taxes, and those taxes are being paid for by U.S. citizens. And so if you think that asymmetry is something that could be addressed, could be improved upon, and if we did that, it would be good for U.S. citizens. Right? Is it good for U.S. citizens to mail $370 billion to them while they're sending $57 billion to us? And are we supposed to keep doing that because of some economic model that doesn't have the whole real world in it, says that we're better off because of inflation if we keep sending $370 billion to foreign governments? It just doesn't make sense. And so if you'd like, we could go to the blackboard and talk about the economic modeling and the elasticity of supply versus demand and all that stuff. But I usually save that for Ali Velshi.
I will happily
spare us the blackboard because we will fall asleep. We just want lower prices, so let's make it happen, can we? Okay, we've got this. This is Eric Abinante. Clay Travis gets audible gasps from the University of Chicago audience after he declares that men view Democrats as pussies. I think cucks is probably a more correct term.
For both elections, young men have not become much more conservative, at least according to Gallup, but they have become.
Look at his hands. Watch his hands. Just watch his hands. Oh my goodness.
More young men have not become much more conservative, at least according to Gallup, but they have become more Republican. So you have this interesting.
Wait, say that again. The men.
They have not identified as more conservative, but they are becoming more Republican. So from the Obama era, young men and young women were Democrats, right? For both elections, strong majorities of young men and young women voted for Barack Obama. And then you had a slow decline, right? This didn't happen in just one election. There's been a deterioration of Democratic identity among young men for over 10 years. And so
are you saying specifically they turn against Democrats?
I'm saying that they are more, yes, they are more Republican now, but not necessarily because they've shifted to the right on issues like climate change or abortion or same-sex marriage. They're still well to the left of their dads and grandfathers when it comes to that stuff. And so you have this really interesting situation where this group, again, looks on paper fairly liberal in a lot of ways. And in point of fact, you had 6 in 10 young men who are moderates vote for Trump, and more than 1 in 5 liberal young men vote for Trump, right? And so if we're going to look for explanations, we need to move beyond issues. We need to understand, like, there's something about Trump that was attractive, and then there's something about the Democratic Party, at least in its current manifestation, that was repellent.
I was really struck.
Let's just see. President Trump, alpha, businessman, billionaire, gets shit done. And on the left, they can't define a woman. They don't know which bathroom to use. And I mean, the list just goes on and on.
By you saying, especially that, even if they are more likely to identify as Republicans, they're still far more liberal than the men of generations before them. And I think that that's something that would surprise a lot of young women like myself to hear that. I was surprised.
So what is it that we're missing about, or what is it that people who are not, as Magdalene said, people who don't understand why? That's my first question. I have a second one, but go ahead.
Okay, so what I would start with is men aspire to be bigger, stronger, and faster than we are, almost universally. That's why superheroes are popular. That's why pro athletes are popular. Who is the most masculine Democrat right now in America? Mayor Pete.
Is that a gay joke?
No. Mayor Pete. No. Well, no, it's just that he's not particularly masculine. Nobody's like, oh, Mayor Pete, he's a badass. Chuck Schumer. Is anybody like, hey, Chuck Schumer holding up an avocado and a beer to talk about the Super Bowl? Is anybody like that trying to grill? Is anybody like, hey, that's a dude I want to hang out with?
But Trump's like a grandpa.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Trump took a bullet in his ear and immediately stood up and said, fight, fight, fight. Every man in America and most of the women out here were impressed by that, even if the women won't admit it. She's shaking her head strong. And second part of this, basically summing it up, Democrats for men are pussies and Republicans
Democrats for men
are pussies. There are no masculine men in the Democrat Party right now.
No masculine men in the Democrat Party. That is pretty damn brutal. But, sometimes you got to show some tough love, right? We've got more here. This is Jim Ferguson. 9 hours ago, Trump's purge of Biden's DOJ loyalists, swamp lawfare operatives fired immediately. Trump has fired Biden-appointed U.S. attorneys effective immediately. Many of those prosecutors were deeply involved in the J6 witch hunts, targeting Trump supporters and ignoring real crime. Some were reportedly given just 48 hours to justify why their staff should remain, but the writing's on the wall. The lawfare regime is done. The DOJ is being purged, and this is only the beginning. So what does it mean? The corrupt prosecutors who weaponize the justice system against conservatives are out. Trump is reshaping the DOJ, making way for prosecutors who actually uphold the law, not political persecution. This is exactly what I just said. Expect major shifts ahead. Accountability is coming for those who thought they were untouchable. The swamp is being drained and the lawfare games are over. Trump is taking back control. Oh yeah, baby, let's keep going. We've got more celebrations today on day 25 of President Trump in the White House. Oh, of course, we have a clip from Scott Jennings over there on CNN, the lone voice of sanity, going into the lion's den every night. Why would I respect the AP? Oh, what's that? I think I hear, is that Marine One? Yeah, I'm like a block away from the White House, and Marine One would be taking off right outside that window. That certainly sounds potentially like Marine One. Okay, anyway, let's go to the CNN clip with Scott Jennings.
Why do you think the AP won't just call it the Gulf of America? I mean, the president does.
Let me
rename
just
things. We rename what's the mountain, Denali,
Okay.
Mount McKinley.
Let me read their explanation for why they are not doing it. Essentially, they are saying that the Trump's order only carries authority within the United States. Mexico, as well as other countries and international bodies, do not have to recognize that name change. The Gulf of Mexico has carried that name for 400 years. As was said at the table, and the Associated Press is going to refer to it by its original name, while acknowledging that Trump has a new name that he would like to call it. They are an international organization. No one except Trump with a pen has said that it's the Gulf of America. It's a body of water that also has borders with another country, and it's been named that for 400 years.
I know, but we have a lawful process in this country for changing the name of it. The president went through it with the Secretary of the Interior, by the way. I mean, it feels a little
different. Can I just answer your Denali question? The Denali thing is actually different because that's a place that's in the United States proper. It exists in.
But we changed the name of it. The point is we change the name of it.
We have the ability to change the name. It's Mount McKinley. It's Mount McKinley.
But we also have the ability to change this body of water. I think, look, this smacks to me of a news organization looking for a way to pick a fight with Donald Trump over something that they don't need to pick a fight over.
Exactly.
B, he is the president, and there is a lawful process that he did follow to do it.
The news organization why won't they just pick a fight with Donald Trump over this? Donald Trump picked a fight with the news organization.
No, they're not calling it by the name.
He didn't pick a fight. Like Jennings is saying, he went through a lawful process, but the AP is ignoring the law, and that's why they were barred from the pool reporting in the Oval Office the other day and had a big temper tantrum.
No, the news organization can do whatever they want. If they want to call it the Gulf of South America, they can call it
that.
But
why would I respect a news organization that doesn't deal in reality?
But
you don't have to. If to not call it what
they
it
can
is.
call it whatever they want because there's free speech in this country. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, but that, in my opinion, if you're not willing to call something by the proper name based on the laws of the United States, that calls into question your judgment. And are you a news organization?
By the way,
or are you
there are no laws in play here. It's an executive order, and the body of water is not named by the United States. It's named by global organizations that name global landmarks. It's not.
So what global organizations were around 400 years ago that made that determination, right? Okay, big flaw right there.
You don't respect Donald Trump's executive order or the Secretary of the Interior's process on this either.
Donald Trump had an executive order, but the Associated Press is not bound by it.
Scott, what if
the Associated Press isn't bound by the order? Okay, just ignore reality then. It's right in front of you. Then we'll just completely ignore you guys, and you'll get kicked out of the press room. Okay, what else have we got here? We got the fired attorneys. We've also got more. Let's continue with our second part of this segment. This is We have the press conference. Now, this was when Modi was there. Also, in the executive signing session that was at 1 o'clock today, I was just getting ready to go into the White House. I was there at 2 o'clock. This was all happening as we were getting ready to go. President Trump talking about leveling the playing field today.
It'll come down rapidly. The United States, which a lot of countries do, including our allies. Our allies, in many cases, are worse than our enemies in this, having to do with trade. And has been going along. That's why we have a $36 trillion amount of money that we owe. We owe $36 trillion, but that'll come down rapidly. Likewise, provisions will be made for non-monetary tariffs and a non-monetary, that's where they charge and they do things that aren't, there's no dollar amount, but they make it impossible for you to do business. They do tests on cars, like dropping a bowling ball on the hood of a car, and if the hood doesn't withstand it, which no hood would except for an army tank, then they say, I'm sorry, you can't sell your car into a certain country. That's a non-monetary tariff. So this is in order to take economic advantage. Likewise, the provisions for the non-monetary tariffs and trade barriers that some countries charge, and most countries, many countries have something to that effect in order to keep our product out of their domain, or if they do not even let the U.S. businesses operate. So in some countries, they just won't let us even operate there. They charge us a lot, but they won't even let us go in. And we have many of them. And what our Secretary of Commerce, standing right behind me, Howard Lutnick, what he's going to be doing is he's going to come up with a number that's an equivalent number to that. But in many countries, not too many, but quite a few, they don't let us do business. They effectively don't let us do business. So we're going to put a number on that that is a fair number. We're able to accurately determine the cost of these non-monetary trade barriers, and we'll be able to do that very accurately. Right? It's fair to all. No other country can complain. And in some cases, if a country feels that the United States would be getting too high a tariff, all they have to do is reduce or terminate their tariff against us, in which case we're going to pay the same thing. There is no tariff. So if they have a tariff and then they complain that this is too high, all they have to do is reduce their tariff or not charge it. I think there'll be certain countries, it's already happened. I believe I heard that the EU today or yesterday lowered the tariff on their cars to 2.5% because that's what we charge. And they lowered it from 10%, but it was really much higher than 10%. But 10% to 2.5, that's already happened. That's a big win.
It's already beginning, folks. It is already beginning. We got this 6 hours ago. President Trump, a reporter asking, there's been some nervousness on Wall Street about tariffs. Well, here is the president's response to that today.
I want to have
on Wall Street about these tariffs. So there's been some nervousness on Wall Street about the impact.
So. I mean, there hasn't been very much, and I think it's going to make the United States stronger, and in many ways, it could make other countries stronger too.
I love how they asked the question. There's been some nervousness on Wall Street. Who's nervous? Can you tell me who's nervous? Who's the affected party here, right? What's your source?
You know, other countries want to have a strong United States. They want to have a strong America. And I think it's going to make us very, very strong, much stronger.
Wall Street about
we are going to be much stronger. And here is President Trump to Caitlin Collins, who I saw today. This should have been done by Biden years ago.
Nobody wants you to see. And this should have been done by Biden years ago. This should have never been allowed to happen. I know he's a friend of yours.
But couldn't Putin just withdraw his?
He's a friend of
today?
CNN. That's why nobody watches CNN anymore, because they have no credibility. Okay, who else? Yes, please. And this should have been done by Biden.
Totally roasting her. Okay, so for context, so this happened before I got to the press office today. So she was actually storming around the press room. I mean, she was just like, like you could just see like the aggression as she walked through the press room, because President Trump just roasts CNN every single day, but she thinks she rules the roost. Well, guess what? There's a new sheriff in town. Okay, we've got more from today's press conference inside the Oval Office, talking about businesses wanting to make products in the United States again.
U.S. Steel is.
Have we talked to any CEOs since the tariffs were announced on steel and aluminum? What's the feedback from those?
They are in love with it. As you know, in Pennsylvania, U.S. Steel is through the roof. They're all through the roof. That's why I didn't want U.S. Steel to make a deal with Japan or anybody else. I think it's going to do great. But I think maybe more than anybody else, the steel companies and aluminum companies, they're in love with what's happened. And this will eventually be the car companies and chip companies. We have to have chips made in this country. Right now, everything's made in Taiwan practically, almost all of it, a little bit in South Korea. But everything, almost all of it is made in Taiwan. And we want it to be made. We want those companies to come to our country in all due respect. You know, they took the business away. Taiwan took our chip business away. We had Intel, we had these great companies that did so well, and it was taken from us. And we want that business back. We want it back in the United States. And if they don't bring it back, we're not going to be very happy.
And you mentioned pharmaceuticals as well in China. That's national security to bring that back.
China and other places. We want to get the pharmaceutical and drug business back into the United States, where it should be.
Have we talked to any CEOs since the tariffs?
We have more from the Oval Office earlier today, talking about the reciprocal trade and its effect on jobs.
I mean, not necessarily, but I'll tell you what will go up is jobs. The jobs will go up tremendously. We're going to have great jobs for everybody. This is something that should have been done many years ago. China did it. I mean, China did it at a level that probably nobody's ever seen before. If you manufactured a car, you couldn't send it into China. The tariff was so high. So everybody went and they built in China. It was no big secret. So we're going to see, but it's going to mean tremendous amounts of jobs. And ultimately, prices will stay the same, go down. But we're going to have a very dynamic country. I mean, not necessarily.
Very dynamic country, more jobs in play, and the farmers are going to be helped by this very much, says the president.
Dumped into our and I think the farmers are going to be helped by this very much because product is being dumped into our country and our farmers are getting hurt very badly by the last administration. The last administration hated our farmers, like at a level that I've never seen before. I think our farmers are going to be helped. Jobs are going to be helped, but our farmers are going to be helped. Our manufacturers are going to be helped. And again, if somebody wants to come in, including the car companies, if they want to come in and build car plants, they'll do it without tariffs, and therefore prices won't go up. There could be some short-term disturbance, but long-term, it's gonna make our country a fortune.
It's going to make our country a fortune. Are you ready for it? And I certainly am. Are they ready for me, though, right? Okay, we've got more. This is the moment I wanted you guys to see. This really is important for me that you guys watch this.
Next News Network. All right, that's a wrap. Gary Franchi, Next News Network at the White House. Here it is, folks. Full access, hard pass acquired. Yes, we have just leveled up the game here at the Next News Network. How amazing. After 20 years, look at there's Media Row. I mean, everything's happening right here in real time. This is President Trump has opened up this White House to the people, and we're here for it for you. You guys send us here. Your dedication, your blessings, your gifts, everything has brought us to this moment. I mean, I always dreamed of being here, having an opportunity to report from here, even just the day's events. And after today, just getting our bearings, learning the ins and outs of being at the White House, learning about the rooms and everything. It's been a really surreal experience. Right behind me, this is where you see the media doing all of their reporting every single day, right here. And then this is the shot. And it's the report. And now we're part of it.
Donald Trump has changed the game in the media. He's changed the game in America, and it's only going to get better. This is what, day 29? How amazing, folks. Wow. Just absolutely amazing. So, hard pass acquired, White House access granted, new America on the horizon, making it better, making it greater. Donald Trump is making the news great again.
Yes, he is, my friends, making the news great again. So let's take a look at what's happening here. We have 93 federal prosecutors, all appointed by Biden and all fired in a single day. The same day, Trump announces reciprocal tariffs that have our trading partners scrambling. The same day, we learn about billions in government waste. Now, the mainstream media wants you to believe these events aren't connected. They want you to think it's just routine political housekeeping, but ask yourself this. When was the last time you saw this level of coordinated action? When was the last time anyone had the courage to take on the deep state, the global trade cartels, and the bureaucratic swamp all at once? And here's the real question. Is Trump's DOJ purge just the beginning of something much bigger? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And are you ready to join the revolution? Well, you can just by tapping the link in the description to get your exclusive Next News gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Show the world where you stand. All right, folks, you guys have got the super chats lit up, $28.97. We are only just beginning. We have a new member. Jonathan is, actually, he gifted, Jonathan Floming gifted a membership to MAGA Tamra. She got one. And Stephen has just dropped $5. He says, hey, from Kansas. What's up, Kansas? What's up, Stephen? And then we got TK Custom Supermods dropping $2. Did any of you see that new guy at the White House today? I wonder who that was. And then we have Conrad dropping, what is that? $2.99. Thank you, Conrad, for that super sticker of the pear character. And Morgan Edwards has just become a member. Everyone, welcome Morgan Edwards to the family. And Tom B420 also, he says, you look great today, Gary. P.S. This is dabs for you? Dabs? This is dabs for you? What does that mean? I don't know. What does that mean? Okay. Dabs. Brian, is that a term I need to know about? I don't need to know. Okay, maybe hit me up on the private message and explain. I think I know what it means. Oh, it's only for you. Okay. All right. Well, that's $5. All right, Brian. We'll send that super chat your direction. Okay. And then we got Mountain Goddess saying, what did they feed you? Was it good? Actually, it didn't feed me anything. I got something out of the vending machine for myself and for Angie. And what was interesting, too, and this kind of leads into Viv B's question here for when she dropped $5. Thank you, Viv. She says, I bet the stuck-up bitches of MSN absolutely hate that independent media is now in the White House press room. Well, I can tell you this. The fact that they would open up, like, apparently the group that we were with today, there was a huge group of other individuals who were getting their White House hard passes. And the woman who was leading us said this was like the biggest group that she'd had yet. It was the busiest one. There must have been, 12, 15 of us. So it's not a common thing that they are giving out this level of passes to independent media. I met a lot of people today. And it was really great, just chit-chatting with people. So I think when we went in like this little like cafeteria, like it's not even a cafeteria. It's like 2 vending machines and like a refrigerator, 2 bathrooms, and like a desk you can kind of sit around, a large table. And we sat there and I could kind of feel it. There was some kind of, you could feel this elevated kind of attitude towards the level of people, the number of people that were in the room, because there's so many more. So I think, yeah, the mainstream media, there's a lot of familiar faces. Like, I couldn't remember all their names, but I could, like, oh, I know, I've seen that guy, I've seen that guy, I've seen that guy, right? So really cool, though, to see all these people in person. And especially when Caitlin Collins comes, like, just walking past me. I'm like, man, I've trashed her so many times on this channel. But, that's what it's about, though. It's holding them accountable. And we got Dude Bro. What does he say? Can't wait to see the Pentagon get audited. $1.99. Thank you, Dude Bro. Mouth to the South here. $3. Thank you for that. Congrats, Gary. You deserve it. Every bit of it. Thank you. Thank you. And Thomas McCullough. What's up, Thomas McCullough? Dropping his $4.99 right in the Alex Jones was right jar. Well, Tom, I got to say, working with you, working with Brian, working with our team, these moments wouldn't be possible if certain things didn't happen many, many years ago. And you're here for it. I'm here for it. And I'm grateful for you, sir. Thank you. Thomas McCullough, good friend of mine. Maybe you'll see him around the press room. You never know. Okay, folks, we got some more news to get to. We're not done yet. Let's get into our second topic of the night. One of my favorite topics. Yeah, it is the Doge, baby. Doge. Okay, Todd, this is titled 2.1 Doge. Is there a 2.2? It's all the way down at the bottom. I wonder why. Okay, let's get into it here. As we are getting into it here, let me just say, Keel for real wears his sunglasses at night. Did you guys know that? Okay. Have you ever wondered where your tax dollars really go? Well, tonight we have the answer, and it's worse than anyone imagined. The Department of Government Efficiency, or the DOGE, has just released findings so shocking they're trying to scrub them from the internet. $3 million for steroid-enhanced hamster fighting. $600,000 for parrot romance studies. But here's the real kicker. Reuters, yes, that Reuters, was paid millions for what they're calling large-scale social deception. We've got the documents, we've got the numbers, and in just a moment, we're going to show you exactly how deep this rabbit hole goes. Now, speaking of government waste, while the deep state was spending millions on hamster fights, they were also burying research about natural health solutions. But here's what they don't want you to know. A groundbreaking 2024 study shows that multi-collagen protein can dramatically transform your health. I use this amazing formula every day. It features 5 key types of collagen from 4 different sources. Unlike cheap store brands, it's pure, it's clean, and actually works. Visit healthwithgary.com for an incredible 51% off discount. Don't wait. Transform your health while this offer lasts. Okay, this just in. 7 hours ago, we are learning now DOGE officials have just entered the IRS building in D.C. to begin their investigation into the agency. Oh, baby. Oh, audit the IRS. Oh, yes, but don't forget to audit the Fed. I mean, somebody needs to audit the auditors, right? Have you ever been the heart of an audit, the IRS? It's not fun. But it looks like they're going to have a taste of their own medicine. This comes after X users overwhelmingly voted for DOGE to dig into the IRS just days ago. We, the people, are in charge of our government again. Remember when this poll came out? Yeah, there it is. Would you like DOGE to audit the IRS? Elon Musk asking the question. 1.9 million people filled out that poll. 51% said yes. And 41% said F yes, and 8% said no. I mean, why would you say no to something like that? I don't quite understand. And then we have this, Sassafras 84. Yes, sir, Mark Green, spot on, well said. He has the security clearance and all that political grandstanding from the Democrats. It's called panic. Today I read the DOGE has made its way to the IRS. Audit it. Share this out. There is panic in D.C.
Hide the corruption. Elon Musk does have a security clearance. He has a top secret security clearance. By God, he makes the rockets for NASA. But the suggestion that he somehow can't be trusted to dig into how we're spending our money is nothing but a smokescreen to hide the corruption and the wasteful spending that has occurred there. And I am personally offended at the left's continued references to 19-year-olds and 21-year-olds in there doing work. There are 19-year-olds who have won the Medal of Honor defending this country. Just because you're 19 doesn't mean you're some child who can't be trusted. It is offensive. And if you're 19 years old out there, 20 years old, and you're serving this country, by God, your service matters. Keep serving. We thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. That guy clearly is pissed. Mark Green, spot on. Yes, well said, sir. Well said indeed. And then we have this was 24 hours ago. There will be an announcement on Representative Robert Garcia after he threatened weapons to be used against Elon Musk for saving America. Yeah, talking about violence, the party of violence. This is what he said. What a moron.
And so if she's going to, for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight, this is an actual fight for democracy, for the future of this country. And it's important to push back on the chairperson of this committee. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about having decorum, about bipartisanship. This is the person that lies more than anybody else in the entire Congress. And so if she is going to make a mockery of hearings, I want to make sure that us as Democrats are bringing that same level of energy. And of course, after those comments, we went into exactly what Elon Musk is trying to do, dismantling the Department of Labor, dismantling the Department of Education, dismantling all of our consumer protection agencies. So it's all important, but it's also important to get the attention of the American public and call Elon Musk out for what he is, and to make people know that Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a serious legislator, and she shouldn't be treated as such.
Yeah, she shouldn't be treated as much. Elon Musk is danger. We need violence. That's what he's saying. Well, guess what? This party is over for them. That kind of rhetoric's not going to fly anymore because the American people are just straight tired of it. Salty Goat. You ready for this? Y'all going to love this from the DOGE report. $3 million on steroid-enhanced hamster fighting. $2.3 million on cocaine effects on beagles. $600,000 on parrot romance. $500,000 on racial aggression in mice. $2.1 million encouraging Ethiopians to wear shoes. Democrats are fighting to stop this. Yes. No. We're not going to stop this. Everyone agree we should never pay a dime in income tax again? Let's listen to your patriotic bestie and see what she has to say.
In case you missed it, here's the DOGE report for today. So where is our money actually being spent? Well, they found that $3 million is being used to study steroid-enhanced hamster fighting. I think you could just go to like a bar at night, watch a couple dudes get into it, and know what steroids will do for a fight. Okay. $2.3 million has been used for studying cocaine effects on beagles. Why don't you just spend about $1,500, get yourself a Coachella ticket, get a lawn chair, sit back, watch. You'll understand what cocaine does to anyone. Coachella, just go there. $600,000 in parrot romance. That's important. It's definitely really important, actually. We'll keep that. $500,000 in racial aggression in mice. I'm sorry, do mice give a shit? They just want your food. They don't care if you're black, you're white, you're Asian. They don't care. They just probably want to get your food and your crumbs and in your house and on the streets, and gross, okay? 1.1 million training mice to binge drink. Just go to UGA, pick a sorority house, pick a fraternity house, watch them on the weekends. They'll binge drink, study the effects after that. Free. Just again, lawn chair. See, I think we should just promote buying a couple of lawn chairs and go to a couple of these events. You'll get all the studies you need and willing participants. 2.1 million encouraging Ethiopians to wear shoes. That's effective for Americans, thank God. That's where our money is going. We know we can't buy groceries, but let's make sure those Ethiopians wear their shoes. I can't even get my kid to put their shoes on. Okay, can we maybe put a little money in that? Or sometimes I'm like, where's the other shoe? Why do you only have one? What happened to the second one? Okay, 187,000 verifying that kids love their pets. Unless you're raising Jeffrey Dahmer, your kids like their pets. It's just natural. Most people like pets more than like humans. I know, I do. 2.7 million studying Russian cats on treadmills. Why don't we take 2.7 million and try to encourage more Americans to use treadmills? Finally, 875,000 studying cocaine effects on quail mating. Again, lawn chair, sorority fraternity house, a good party. Watch what happens when cocaine enters the room. So in case you missed it, that is where your hard-earned dollars are going this week in the DOGE report.
The DOGE report. Oh, you got to love it. Oh, and this is only the beginning, folks. This is only the beginning. We've got more on the DOGE. Let's continue with our investigation. Deranged Maxine Waters batters Jerome Powell about DOGE and lets the real worry slip. Listen to this.
You won't let DOGE into. When Musk comes knocking at the Fed's door, you gonna let him in?
I don't have anything for you on that.
Would you like to tell us today that you won't let DOGE into the Federal Reserve or have access to the systems and the data?
So I don't have any, we've had no contact, and I don't really have, I have nothing for you to report today on that.
Well, you know what happened at Treasury, and you know what happened over at the CFPB, and the people of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us, our bank accounts, everything that in our lives. So I want to protect it in the Fed. Mr. Powell, Musk comes knocking at us and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us, our bank.
We don't know what they all have on us. You know who talks like that? Criminals who are guilty of crimes. Yeah, we don't know what they've got. What do they have on us? What do they have on us to convict us? Yeah, she let it slip. And I remember John Anthony played this clip for me this morning when I was on his show, broadcasting into Detroit today, right here in Washington, D.C. He played this clip, and that's exactly what I said. I said, that's the way criminals talk. What do they have on us? Maxine Waters, what do they have on you? I think we're going to find out soon. And we have more. Looks like James O'Keefe has called the U.S. Treasury policy advisor for a comment and begging not to use his name. He says, I'm going to do this story with or without your permission. What have you got? What's going on, James?
People deserve to know.
I'm going to have to decline to be named.
We intend to name you, Nate.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm a reporter, and I think that people deserve to know the things that you've said. I'm not even saying you're a bad guy. I think a lot of what you said makes sense.
And I think James O'Keefe deserves to have White House press access as well. I'm sure that is not far away. Let's continue.
Not publish my name. I'm not giving permission.
I am going to do this story, with or without your permission.
Hi, this is Nate Johnson.
Hey, Nate Johnson. Hey, my name is James O'Keefe. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute. We have some quotes from you.
I don't think I've given any quotes. So.
Yes, you have. You one of the girls that you spoke with, that you met online, actually works for me, and you talked extensively about Elon Musk, DOGE, and how some things they're doing at Treasury are, in your colleague's opinion, unlawful. So I just want to talk to you and hopefully encourage you to speak on the record and talk to me more about this.
I'm sorry. No, I'm going to have to decline. I'm going to have to decline to be named.
You're on a hidden camera saying all these things. You're talking about how a lot of your colleagues in the government don't do a whole lot. You say this. You're on video, and we're gonna.
I don't believe I've said that.
Yes, you have. I have a direct quote from you saying that quote, there are people I've known who've been working for the government for 40 years and they don't do much. I hate to say it, but I know a few of them. I think they, DOGE, target us because it's an easy target. No one's quitting. Everyone's dug in their feet. Everyone's essentially dug in their feet and said, like, you're going to have to fire me. We have you on video saying
that. Okay, again, I'm going to have to decline to be named. So
well, we intend to name you. Nate.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm a reporter, and I think that people deserve to know the things that you've said. And I would encourage you to speak to me and sit down with me in a sit-down interview.
Again, I'm going to have to decline.
But why would you decline that? You've already spoken. You've spoken to a complete stranger and shared all these things to them. Why not speak now publicly? Why not talk to a reporter about the things that you told a stranger? You've already said the things to someone that you barely know. You work for the Treasury Department. I have you as being a policy advisor.
I'm sorry. No. I'm not going to answer any more questions.
But you've already answered dozens of questions from a total stranger. Do you know what it looks like when you won't speak to me, a reporter, but you will share all this information about the Treasury Department to a complete stranger?
I'm sorry, what's your name again?
My name is James O'Keefe. You guys always do this. What's my name? You're at the Treasury Department. You specialize in foreign policy on the monitoring and enforcement team. Do you not? Okay, I guess I got that one right, didn't I? Because you didn't correct me.
I'm not answering any questions.
Why not? What are you afraid of?
I'm not answering any questions.
You've already answered many questions by a girl in a restaurant who is wearing a hidden camera. So what is it? What do you think it's going to look like to the American people when you keep saying you're not answering questions after you just answered loads of questions by a total stranger? This is only one of the most important public policy issues in a generation, with Elon Musk and DOGE coming in doing what they're doing. I'm not even saying you're a bad guy. I think a lot of what you said makes sense. But I am going to do this story with or without your permission, and I would like you to speak to me. And that's the last time I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to leave you alone. I'm giving you a last opportunity to come on record and talk to me.
No, I'm not going to answer any questions. I'm sorry.
I
again am going to ask that you do not publish my name. I'm not giving permission.
I guess it's just too late for that one. And we've also got more. This is from Libs of TikTok. Senator Josh Hawley is calling for a full audit of the money we sent to Ukraine. I think that's long overdue.
Going to try to figure out, do you think that America should in some way be reimbursed? If knowing Trump, he's going to try to figure out a way for the American taxpayer to recoup some of the money blown in Ukraine, whether it's some energy situation or deal with Russia or Ukraine, or maybe together. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what ends up happening.
You know what else needs to happen is we need an accounting of every single tax dollar that's been spent over there. Because remember, right now we have zero because Congress never would vote for an audit of the money. And the White House, the Biden White House, never would do one. We need to know exactly how this money has been spent all these years. And if you think USAID is a corrupt thing, just wait till we see how our money has been spent. We need to know it. And I'm glad the president is going to bring this to a close.
Yeah, the Pentagon should be next. Senator, thank you, as always.
The Pentagon should be next indeed, and it will be. We are learning that it is on the audit list for the DOGE. Here we have Magate Wade dropping a nuke on Jamie Raskin at the House Judiciary hearing when he went off topic to attack Elon Musk. Let's listen.
In 2000, we really need to hire a fourth branch of government called Elon Musk to go out and do it for us? My name is Magat Wade. I'm a Senegalese American entrepreneur. I've been living in the US since 1998, and I became a US citizen in 2018. I'm also an author of The Heart of a Cheetah, a book that talks about African entrepreneurship and prosperity. Mr. Raskin, your words earlier really, really worried me, and I will tell you why. When you say we are here and we should be here to talk about Mr. Elon Musk and all the unconstitutional things that he's doing, and you said we shouldn't be here to talk about regulation or anything like that, first of all, I want to say, then why did you have me here? As an entrepreneur, my time is valuable. I came here because I thought we were going to talk about the regulatory state and why it matters. So you need to make up your mind on that. And I'm deeply offended by what you said there. Furthermore, I would tell you why I came when I was invited to speak on this. Because right now, everybody in this country, these issues of regulation, overregulation, has been made into a matter of partisanship. Are you from the left or are you from the right? I don't care. Because where I come from, the overregulation causes us to be where we are. My continent, Africa, is the poorest region in the world today because it happens to be the most overregulated region in the world. So if you don't see the value of overregulation, if you need and want to wait until this country becomes like most African countries, I don't know. I love this country and I don't want to see it go down there. And also, just so you know, what does overregulation mean for regular people? It means death, literally. People are packing themselves into little fishermen's boats, trying to leave nations that are overregulated, therefore no jobs, and then they have to leave and go seek jobs someplace else. We really need to hire a fourth.
Jamie Raskin just got his ass handed to him. So let's see what else is going on here. This is February 12th, 2025. Wait, what? And Elon Musk giving the curious emoji on this. I think I know where this is going.
Oh, what the people of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us.
Yeah, what do they have on you? And we got the DOGE website has now officially gone live. The initial site, XFeed posts, consolidated government org chart, enormous manual effort consolidating 16,000 plus offices, summary of the massive regulatory state, including unconstitutionality index. It's a ratio of rules written that are by unelected bureaucrats to laws passed by Congress. Also coming soon, targeting Valentine's Day, a description and amount of each cost and reduction with receipts where applicable, and overall saving scorecard will constantly be working to maximize the site's utility and transparency. Please let us know what else you want to see. Oh, I've been waiting for this website to go live for quite some time. And should we take a look at it together? You want to take a look? Here it is. This is the new DOGE site in action. The rules versus the laws. You can see it. Here's the unconstitutionality index. It's 18.5. This is the number of agency rules created by unelected bureaucrats for each law passed by Congress. Now you see the big. I guess that's blue. The blue line or the purple line is the rules, and the green line are the laws. So you can see that the laws are very small, but then they just keep adding all these rule after rule after rule, and this is like mission creep. So when they have a law, the bureaucrats go ahead and say, okay, we're gonna create this infrastructure to execute the law, and then over time it just becomes big and bloated and unaccountable. And then you have, because Congress created the law and the executive branch executes the law, it's then Congress gets all their buddies and they put them into these positions of power to execute the rules that the law created within this bureaucracy. And that's exactly how you see people that go into Washington and they're broke and they come out as millionaires. Okay? So this is a new era of accountability. The Code of Federal Regulations, 98.68 million. And that is total words versus total sections of the regulation. Federal regulations by agency, you can sort it by words. The Department of Treasury, words, sections of regulation. I mean, this is like they are going to cut all this down, and it's going to make so much sense as the transparency continues to grow through the DOGE agency. There's never been a level of transparency that we've ever seen from the federal government before. And this is, like I said, just the beginning. So we're going to keep tracking this. What else have we got here on the DOGE front? Representative Eric Bolson and Representative Timmons joined Will Kane to discuss the DOGE subcommittee's war on waste. Let's listen.
We're in that hearing subcommittee. South Carolina Republican William Timmons and Missouri Republican Eric Burleson join me now. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us here today, this afternoon. You were in that hearing subcommittee meeting. I'm curious, there's a concept, I'm sure you're familiar with it, called straw manning your opponent, where you offer up their weakest argument and then you attempt to knock it down. Let's do the opposite, if we might, for a moment. Let's steel man the Democrats. Let's put their best argument forward. As you sat in that meeting today, what did they say that made sense? Congressman Burleson, I'll start with you. What was their biggest concern about Elon Musk?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they're making an ad hominem attack against Elon Musk. They're attacking the messenger as opposed to attack the policies. We really had, it was like a desert of discussion from the left about when it came to discussing any policies whatsoever. They really just were trying to throw shade at Musk.
It was a personal attack, as you mentioned, an ad hominem attack. Congressman Timmons, on that note, they brought up potential conflicts of interest for Elon Musk. He does have very big contracts through the DOD and through NASA. He addressed that yesterday. He said, but I'm an open book. If you see a conflict, if you see a problem, point it out and I'll address it. Was there any substance, though, to their attack on the person conducting the government efficiency audit?
I didn't hear any. Honestly, it was disappointing that they refused to engage in the actual substance of the purpose of the hearing. Medicaid fraud is real. And if we just introduce enhanced identity verification and enhanced income verification, we could save $200 billion. Why aren't they working with us on that? Why are they complaining about the decisions that the president that 77 million Americans elected? I mean, it really is ridiculous, especially considering that Joe Biden tried to sign an executive order to forgive $250 billion in student loans that was clearly unconstitutional. But again, if they don't have double standards, I mean, I don't even know.
South Carolina.
Yeah, double standards. What about, no standards at all? Here is Representative Cloud of Texas. This was at the first DOGE subcommittee meeting that took place yesterday. Let's listen into that moment.
The American people in order to.
I now recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Cloud.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For far too long, D.C. politicians have gotten away with measuring their personal value and worth by how much of other people's money they give away. And for far too long, they self-righteously have opined that the spending was for altruistic purposes given out of care and compassion. For far too long, they've been more concerned with looking like they cared than having enough care and concern to actually do the due diligence to ensure that the tax dollars were being used wisely and effectively. And for far too long, those of us who've worked to uncover waste, fraud, and abuse have had to deal with what amounts to an unconstitutional fourth branch of permanent bureaucracy that has too often worked to ignore, obfuscate, delay, and frustrate our efforts to bring transparency and oversight. Over the last few weeks, the DOGE effort has begun to uncover not only how massive the waste, fraud, and abuse is, but also the extent at which D.C. politicians and too many obstinate bureaucrats have coordinated to create what is essentially the largest money laundering scheme in history. And while Americans have been working to make ends meet, they have been using taxpayer dollars to fund unnecessary, egregious, and even evil things here at home and around the world. Thankfully, in DOGE, we have a president bringing the leadership needed and a focused effort, along with the talent, technology, tools, and transparency to this waste, fraud, and abuse. And to those who would stand opposed to this effort, I would just point out, while it's understandable to find waste, fraud, and abuse that has grown and metastasized in this government even over decades, certainly accelerated over the last few years, to continue to protect it is corruption. I want to thank the chair for beginning this war on waste on this side of Pennsylvania Avenue and bringing together this committee. This effort is so important as we work to relieve the Americans, people of this burden of waste, fraud, and abuse. Mr. Talcove, you mentioned in your written statement and talked about it in your statement at the beginning that this waste, fraud, and abuse is a national security threat. And certainly one of the challenges facing us that is a national security threat is our fiscal situation. And so we have got to find ways to find savings to the American people in order to bring confidence to the bond markets, to put our country on a fiscal footing, and to reverse the curse, so to speak, that we are placing on our children and our grandchildren. You mentioned a couple threats, though. You mentioned internal threats. You said that these cases involve government employees, individuals entrusted with administering benefits who, instead of using their positions to approve fraudulent claims, override security controls, or even sell sensitive claimant information for profit. Now, this is not every federal employee for sure, but within the context of people who are trying to give their best effort, we have an internal threat. But you also mentioned transnational fraud rings, terrorist organizations, nation states, North Korea, nuclear weapons programs funded by our tax dollars, China, Nigeria, Iran, Romania, Russia, not our friends necessarily, that are being funded by taxpayer dollars. Could you give us some examples of how this is happening?
Yeah. So when you think about what happened during the pandemic, $1 trillion was stolen. 70% of that money went overseas. And I can give you some examples. In a Western state, they had more people applying for unemployment insurance benefits than they had individuals over 18. The people that were stealing the money from Romania were using it to facilitate other fraud schemes that include fentanyl, that include doing things to impact our democracy. On the insider threat, right, the first thing you have to say, and my dad was a public servant, is 99% of people that work in the public sector are honest, hardworking individuals. But there are some, and what you need is data and technology to root that out. There were examples during the pandemic. There were some examples even of last week where people got into the Medicaid system in a Western state and stole $50 million in less than 4 months. So you have to have these controls in place, right? These aren't individuals stealing, Mr. Cloud. These are organized criminal groups, both domestic and transnational.
That, as
And today we have the DOGE committee getting to the bottom of this. Also, here's more from Congressman Brian Jack talking about the first hearing investigating trillions of taxpayers wasted through fraud and abuse.
Trump's White House. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And I want to also thank you for convening this hearing. I think it's incredibly important. And I want to thank our witnesses for appearing before us today. Like another member of this committee, I too was once an employee of the Executive Office of the President. I worked in President Trump's White House from the very first to very last day of his first term, and I saw firsthand how entrenched and resistant the federal bureaucracy was to his agenda. So it's no surprise that today a few of my Democrat colleagues have continued that trend by using their time to bash Elon Musk instead of discussing ways to work together to advance a bipartisan cornerstone of President Trump's agenda, the mission to finally eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse. And I just took a rudimentary count of the Dems' testimony, or rather comments today, and I've got 27 mentions of Elon Musk and 3 mentions of waste. And I don't know if that's, in fact, the right count. Encourage anybody to fact check me, but I think it illuminates and illustrates one of the problems that we're facing, which is a lack of bipartisan effort to address these critical things that, waste, fraud, and abuse is something that should be bipartisan. The chair noted that in her opening remarks. Now, Madam Chair, you know how much I enjoy studying public opinion. So with your approval, I'd like to enter into the record the CBS News poll from this past weekend, conducted February 5th to 7th, 2025. And I'd also like to illuminate 2 findings. First, 70% of Americans, Democrats and Republicans included, believe President Trump is already doing the job that he was elected to. Which is interesting because I have an article here from CNN from September 2024 that notes Trump says Elon Musk has agreed to lead proposed government efficiency commission as ex-president unveils new economic plans. So he is doing exactly what he said he would do by empowering his administration to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here today. I'd also like to note one interesting statistic from that. 62% of Americans want Democrats in Congress to work with us to advance the priorities that President Trump was elected to govern on. So I think those are 2 stats that I hope everyone pays attention to.
Oh, and we are paying attention very, very closely. And it's not a secret. This is what they campaigned on. So it shouldn't really come as a shock to anybody. But the fact that they're unveiling all this waste, fraud, and abuse that just goes beyond anything that's comprehensible, like we discussed earlier in the segment, and who's getting this money? Like, are there kickbacks? President Trump's even asked the question, like, who are running these programs, and is there any money going back to their buddies who started these programs? So we're going to continue to track all of this. So again, we got $2.7 trillion. Okay, that's how much of your money the government has wasted. Not million, not billion. We're talking trillion. And that's just what we know about. And the DOGE committee's findings read like a parody, except this is not funny. This is your money. While Americans struggle to pay their bills, the government is funding studies on parrot romance and racial aggression in mice. But here's what should really make you angry. They all knew. The bureaucrats, the politicians, the media companies, they paid to keep quiet. And they were all in on it. So here's what everybody should be asking. If this is what they are willing to admit to, what are they still hiding? Leave your theories in the comments and be part of the resistance. Rock your exclusive MAG Avengers gear from shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. It's linked below, and show the swamp that you mean business. All right, let's check in with the chat room real quick. Yeah, we had a complaint from the room next door, so I've got to be a little bit more quiet. I hope that you guys can still hear me. This is totally unprecedented, but this is where we're at right now, doing our best. Okay, yeah, Pothead Kenny, shh. Where's the 8-ball that wants to take our free speech away? Mouth of the South says it's a great song. They're trying to destroy our constitutional republic, says Aaron. Down the rabbit hole, the Red Shoe Club. Thank you. It must start in the U.S., then in France, I hope. I think I want my money back, says Joe Pesci. They're printing money. Oh, yeah, folks, we are doing the best we can over here at the Next News Network. We're on remote. We're in the belly of the beast right now. I can literally see the Treasury Department out my window. And the White House is just one block from that. So we're going to keep on keeping on here. Bear with us as we continue to okay, Brian's going to try to give me a little bit more volume so that I can try to keep my voice down a little bit, just to try to, be nice to the neighbors, be neighborly. And also, Angie's working right now. She's calling the front desk, and she's going to see if maybe we can buy him breakfast in the morning or something as a, hey, little good faith here. Sorry. I told her I got this podcast. I'm going to be live for another hour or so, and I apologize. Doing our best. Okay, yeah. Okay, if I keep this level of voice, I'm good, says Brian. Okay, and speaking of good, we have some more good news to get to. So let's just keep this party moving right along, shall we? I think that we shall. Remember when they told us it could never happen? That Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would never be confirmed as HHS Secretary? Well, tonight, in a vote that has big pharma executives calling their lawyers, RFK Jr. has been confirmed 52 to 48. But here's what really is interesting. Right before the vote, Elizabeth Warren, who's taken how much money from pharmaceutical companies? Well, she tried to block it. The same Elizabeth Warren who has received nearly $500,000 from health professionals. Professionals, right? Coincidence? And now, just hours after his confirmation, internal memos are already circulating through Washington. We've got them, and they are devastating. So let's take a look as the health establishment fights to maintain control. Americans are taking their well-being into their own hands. That's why I want to tell you about an incredible breakthrough in natural blood pressure support. This triple action formula uses clinically proven ingredients like white mulberry leaf and cinnamon bark powder to help manage blood pressure naturally. It's exactly what RFK Jr. has been talking about, taking control of your own health. Visit boostwithgary.com for up to 40% off and free shipping. Join the health revolution while this special offer lasts. Okay, let's get into it. Beautiful news today. RFK Jr. joining the administration officially. And here is what Rapid Response 47 posted after he made his appearance on Fox.
You need a break. We are 4.2% of the world's population. We buy 70% of the pharmaceutical drugs on Earth. We spend 2 to 3 times what other countries pay for healthcare, and we have the worst health outcomes. We literally have the sickest population in the world. Those are the people that got us there. We do need a break. We need somebody different who can come in and say, I'm going to be a disruptor. I'm not going to let the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry run health policy anymore. We're going to turn health policy over to people who are actually concerned with public health. We are 4.2% of
And there's one man who is concerned with public health, and that is RFK, despite what the mainstream media and the Democrats would have you believe. Here we have, this is from America's Black Hat 4 hours ago. President Donald Trump chastised Senator Mitch McConnell after McConnell voted no on RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. Listen to what he said. He just goes right after McConnell.
Even exist, right?
What's your reaction to that?
Well, I feel sorry for Mitch. And I was one of the people that he wanted to go to the end and he wanted to stay leader. He's not equipped mentally. He wasn't equipped 10 years ago mentally, in my opinion. He'd let the Republican Party go to hell. If I didn't come along, the Republican Party wouldn't even exist right now. Mitch McConnell never really had it. He had an ability to raise money because of his position as leader, which anybody could do. You could do it even. And that's saying a lot. But the fact is that he raised money and he gave a lot of money to senators. And so he had a little loyalty based on the fact that as leader, you could raise a lot of money. Senators would call me and they say, he wants to give me 20, 25 million. Can I take it? I'd say, take the money. Take the money. But he engendered a certain amount of, I don't even call it loyalty. He was able to get votes. But I was the one that got him to drop out of the leadership position. So he can't love me, but he's not voting against Bobby. He's voting against me, but that's all right. He endorsed me. Mitch, do you know that Mitch endorsed me, right?
Well, he did.
You think that was easy? What?
He had polio, obviously, and
I don't know. I don't know anything about he had polio. He had polio.
Are you doubting that he had polio?
I have no idea if he had polio. All I can tell you about him is that he shouldn't have been leader. He knows that. He voted against Bobby. He votes against almost everything now. He's a very bitter guy. And we have a very strong party, and he's almost not even really a very powerful member. I'd say he's not he's lost his power, and it's affected his vote. And it's one of those things. But in the meantime, Bobby did great, got more votes than anybody thought, and I think he's going to do just phenomenally in that position. And everybody else likewise did well. Not only well, they got more votes than anybody thought.
More votes than anybody thought. Well, we certainly are celebrating here at the Next News Network. Rapid Response 47, 4 hours ago, establishing the President's Make America Healthy Again Commission by authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America. It is hereby ordered. Yes, a new established Make America Healthy Again Commission by the order of the President. We must ensure our healthcare system promotes health rather than just managing disease. Yeah, we got to get to the root cause. Because for far too long, the pharmaceutical companies and big pharma doctors, they just mask the symptoms with pill after pill after pill. They never get to the root cause, the holistic reasons why people are getting so sick. Well, we got to get to the bottom of it, and that is exactly what RFK Jr. wants to do. And there's a lot of remedies out there that are suppressed by big pharma because they don't cost anything and they're very effective. So RFK Jr. is a huge advocate of this holistic approach to health policy, and that's going to make a lot of big pharma executives broke. And it's about time because they make a lot of money off of our pain and suffering. Okay, so this is the establishment of the President's Make America Healthy Again Commission. And we also have this. This is from Linda Trace. She says, who would have thought that 4 former Democrats would save America? Yet here we are. Yeah, look at that. They were all once Democrats, and now they are on our side because the Democrat Party has gone so far. And now we have Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, Donald J. Trump, and RFK Jr. This is the new face of America. RFK Jr. was sworn in as a 26th Secretary of Health and Human Services. Let's go to that historic moment right now and watch it together.
Allegiance to the same.
I, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.,
I, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
on
which I am about to enter. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Secretary.
And another Kennedy has taken on office in the federal government. It is a beautiful thing to witness. And you're watching history in real time here on the Next News Network. This is when he gave his remarks. RFK gave remarks in the Oval Office after being sworn in as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. I haven't seen this yet, so I'm looking forward to it. I really wanted to watch this, so I saved it for you guys. All these MAGA Republicans stepping up to the plate. RFK is one of them. Or as Rod Blagojevich likes to call himself, a Trumpocrat.
All of you, I want to begin by thanking President Trump for giving me this extraordinary opportunity. And I want to introduce my family and thank them for being here. My wife, Cheryl, my cousin, Anthony Shriver, my daughter, Kik, my other daughter, Kira, Catalina Shriver, Joey Shriver, Jackson Hines, and Amaryllis Kennedy. Oh, and I want to thank all of you for your support and throughout this whole 2.5-year journey. My first time in this Oval Office was in 1961, and I came here to meet or 1962. I came here and I had a meeting with my uncle, who was president then, where we talked about the environment. He was involved deeply, as we all know, in restoring physical fitness to this country. He challenged at one point during his administration, he challenged Americans to do a 50-mile walk, which I ultimately did. But I remember the day that my father completed his walk. We were staying up at Camp David. And my father came in after 18 hours walking on the CNO towpaths with his feet bleeding and blisters on them. My father had one of his best friends was Al Lowenstein. And Al Lowenstein ultimately was a congressman from New York who was assassinated himself in 1980. But Al Lowenstein had started the Dump Johnson movement to get rid of President Johnson and end the Vietnam War. And at the time that he started it, people just thought it was a fool's errand. And ultimately, he asked my father to run for president against Johnson. My father wouldn't do it at that time. And he asked Gene McCarthy. McCarthy did it, and he joined that campaign. And my father ultimately ran, and Johnson then dropped out. So Al Lowenstein succeeded. And although Al Lowenstein was on the other side now, running against my father with Gene McCarthy, my father wrote him a note, a quote from Emerson, where he said, if a single man plant himself firmly on his own ideal and there abide, the whole wide world will come round to him. For 20 years, I've gotten up every morning on my knees and prayed that God would put me in a position where I can end the childhood chronic disease epidemic in this country. On August 23rd of last year, God sent me President Trump, and he gave me he's now given me, he's kept every promise that he's made to me. He's kept his word in every account and gone way beyond it. I'm so grateful to you, Mr. President. A lot of people told me that I couldn't trust President Trump. I better get it in writing. And we did a handshake, and everything that he told me he was going to do, he has done. And I'm so grateful to him. And I've told you before, I genuinely believe that you are a pivotal historical figure, and you are going to transform this country at a time when we see all of the indicia of democracy now in tatters in our country. We see the rise of the military-industrial complex, the rise of totalitarianism, these attacks on our Constitution, and this breathtaking epidemic that is disabling our people. President Trump has promised to restore the American dream in this country. A healthy person has 1,000 dreams. A sick person only has one. 60% of our population has only one dream, that they get better. President Trump has promised that he's going to restore America's strength. But we can't be a strong nation if we have a weak citizenry. If people are sick, 60% of our people are sick, 77%, as President Trump mentioned, of our children cannot qualify for military service. And we need a man on a white horse now. We need somebody who is willing to come in and has the spine and the guts and the strength to challenge orthodoxies, to stand in the way of vested interests, and to break institutions that have turned against our democracy. President Trump has shown again and again that he is that hero. And most recently, I greatly appreciate it, and I called you the day that you announced the termination of USAID. My uncle started USAID in 1961 for humanitarian purposes, to put our country on the side of the poor. It has been captured by the military-industrial complex. It has become a sinister propagator of totalitarianism and war across the globe. And very few people understand how sinister this agency really is. And President Trump saw that, and he stood up to it with a masterstroke. And we want to do the same thing with the institutions that are stealing the health of our children. We need a revolutionary figure, and you are that figure, and I'm very grateful for you for giving me this opportunity. I want to recognize some of the allies that I've had in this battle for a long time: Senator Rand Paul, Senator Ron Johnson, Senator Roger Marshall, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Buddy Carter, who've all been champions of the MAHA agenda before I even came along. I'm very grateful for you for standing strong. Thank you very much, President Trump. I want to begin.
You are witnessing history right there. Man, it's hard not to tear up watching that. But my goodness, wow. I'm so happy to see RFK, and I cannot wait to see the wonderful things he does with this Health and Human Services bureaucracy, because he's gonna cut it down. The fat's gonna get destroyed, and we're here for it. But Senator Elizabeth Warren, she's just one of those individuals who took money from the pharma complex. Senator Sanders as well, recipients of donors. They try to play it off like, oh, it's just small money, small donations. But no, small money adds up, and that just means that there are many, many people in that sector who want to ensure that their gravy train doesn't dry up. So 21 hours ago, this was posted. Senator Elizabeth Warren just vowed to block RFK Jr. as HHS Secretary tomorrow. Well, of course, she didn't. She was not successful. Senator Elizabeth Warren, lobbyist payments exposed: $125,000 from pharmaceuticals, $491,000 from health professionals, $108,000 from hospitals. Let's listen to Anna R. Matson breaking it down, as she quote tweets Elizabeth Warren, who said that RFK is disqualified and dangerous. Let's listen.
Their data. Hey, Massachusetts, are you good? How in the hell did you end up with two pharma shills as your senators? Both of these senators have been very outspoken about RFK Jr., and we are going to do what we do best. We're going to see who's funding them, starting with Elizabeth Warren. But this is what she posted today. Say goodbye to your smile and say hello to polio. That's what's on the horizon if RFK Jr. becomes a secretary of HHS, and puts out this scripted video. And she even mentions how she's terrified of losing her fluoride from her water. But let's see if she really just cares about our health. She's received $491,000 from health professionals and $125,000 from pharmaceuticals or health products. Oh, and don't forget about the $108,000 from hospitals and nursing homes, for a grand total of $871,000 from the healthcare industry. And this is actually her cheapest selection out of all of them. And by the way, I always get asked where I find my data. This is Open Secrets. They do an amazing job. They collect their data right from the FEC website. The FEC website looks like this. This is where all the candidates have to report what they bring in and what they spend. And then Open Secrets takes this data and puts it together, so it's easy for us to digest. And as I was digging through all of this data, there's something else that caught my attention. I found this article that said that Elizabeth Warren condemned super PACs. Now she's benefiting from one. And this article talks about this Persist PAC. And at the time, they had no idea who was funding the PAC. But now we do. Carla Jerviston gave a whopping $14.6 million to support Elizabeth Warren for the Senate. This is her, and she is a physician. Not only did she attend Stanford, her father was a professor there for over 50 years. And to honor her father, she helped fund the construction of the new Stanford Medical Center. You know who else has ties to Stanford? Pfizer. Back in 2010, they gave a grant to Stanford saying that there's no strings attached. Put your hand up if you actually think that's true. I'm sure nobody. And the grant was $3 million to back new curriculum. But wait, there's more. Pfizer funded an independent educational grant program through, surprise, Stanford. How do all of these dots connect? Well, honestly, that's kind of difficult. As I was doing research, it is very clear that a lot has been hidden here. But this article may give us a hint. Looks like Stanford professors have been found to receive money right from big pharma companies like Eli Lilly. Why does this all matter? Funny enough, I think Dr. Casey Means has already given us the answer. She went to Stanford and was top of her class. She talks about how there was never a class about nutrition, about exercise. She simply learned a diagnosis and a pill to solve it. Because the minute that we find out that we can heal ourselves with food, think about whose bottom line is going to hurt real bad. So to summarize, in addition to all of the money that Elizabeth Warren receives through the healthcare industry, she also has some funny ties to Carla here. Do you think she's actually really concerned about him bringing back polio, or is he just going to hurt her donors' bottom line? Let me know your thoughts.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So look what happened today. A Kennedy, yes, that Kennedy family just took control of America's health apparatus. The same man who spent years exposing what he calls the chronic disease epidemic. The same man who just said, and I quote, "I asked God for 19 years to put me in a position where I could end the chronic disease epidemic and bring health back to our children. And in August, God sent me Donald Trump." Yeah, that Kennedy. The pharmaceutical industry stock prices are already plummeting. The health insurance lobbyists are in panic mode. And Adam Schiff, remember him? Well, he held the Senate floor at 1 a.m. trying to stop this. So here's what we should all be asking, and this is really important. What do they know about our health system that terrifies them so much about RFK Jr.? Share your thoughts below. And stand with the health freedom fighters, the MAHA movement, and grab your exclusive Next News gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and join the revolution. All right, folks, we are not done yet. We have a lot more news to get to. We are going into our fourth topic, checking on our super chats right now. Let's see. We have Tom McCullough is $4.99. And he sent me a text message what he actually intended to say, but he didn't get it out there. Tom says, I super chatted you with the blank message. I meant to say no tracksuits at the White House. Love you, buddy. Yeah. Um, well, things are going to change because the White House just got Franchied. All right. Or Ferrari jackets, as Brian says. No, we'll just bring the Ferrari to the White House. Okay. No, okay, just kidding here. Let's go. We have Thomas McCullough, 499. Jonathan Floming gifted one Next News Network membership. Thank you, Jonathan. And if you're wondering why I'm being so trying to keep my voice down, it's because there's people sleeping in the next room, and apparently I'm keeping them up. You know, the deep state needs to sleep too. You know, I don't know who these people are, but she was nice though. Anyway, Marshall Law. That's his name. Marshall Law was the one who received the gift. Viv B dropped $10. Greg Manarino says that we need a forensic audit for the Fed as they have public books and private books and off-book transactions. Those are what we should see. Otherwise, nothing improves. Well, let's just hope and pray that when they do get their claws, when DOGE digs its claws into the Fed, that we get some real action. In fact, I did have a question queued up for the White House today, and I was really anxious. I really was hoping to get an opportunity to ask the press secretary or even the president himself this question, and I'll let you guys in on what I was going to ask. My question was, can you provide an update on DOGE's progress towards auditing the Federal Reserve? Furthermore, in light of Senator Mike Lee's suggestion that Ron Paul should be the Federal Reserve Chairman, which Elon Musk has called an amazing idea, what is the administration's position on these statements and any potential appointment? So that was my opening question for the press secretary if I had the opportunity. And I was going to ask the president a similar question as well. So, but that didn't happen, but doesn't mean it won't happen in the future. You got to ride the news cycle, and you got to figure out when your opening is, and when that opening takes place, you got to take that shot. You got to swing. But there was no opportunity to swing. It was more or less going to the White House, getting our bearings, going through the press room, knowing where I could and could not go. And it was just exciting to be there on the grounds, just to be able to file a report for you guys. So, okay, we've got some more news to get to. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Okay, and Lone Wolf dropping $5 saying, ooh, our privacy, oh lordy, my privacy, your privacy. We all lost our privacy. God, the Democrat IQ is so low. Yeah, Lone Wolf, $5. There you go. And Karen Myron dropping $5 as well 20 minutes ago. Congrats, Gary. We'll be advocating for disabled veterans the week of February 22nd. Please attend the hearing on the Hill February 25th at 10 a.m. before the Joint Committee. Well, I don't know if I'll be coming back that soon. I will be actually back in DC next week for the Conservative Political Action Conference. So that's going to be exciting. We're bringing the team, and we're going to go and cover that as well. So I'm not sure I'll be able to just. I'm gonna have to. I do have to get back. We've got some really big interviews that we're trying to queue up with people related to the First Lady. So we got to make sure that we keep ourselves open for that. Okay, so we got to get into our fourth topic right now. And again, I'm trying to be quiet because I don't want to piss off the neighbors too much. But the posse is in action. So let's just get right to it. What happens when you put a self-made billionaire in charge of the most bloated bureaucracy in Washington? Well, we're about to find out. Linda McMahon just walked into her confirmation hearing with Triple H sitting behind her. Yes, that Triple H, and proceeded to do something remarkable. She told the truth. $1 trillion spent since 1980. And what do we have to show for it? Plummeting test scores, critical race theory, gender ideology in kindergarten. But here is what the teachers' unions don't want you to know. She has a plan. And after what I saw in that hearing room, they should all be terrified. And speaking of wasteful spending, While the Department of Education burns through billions, Americans are struggling to heat their homes. The energy crisis they created has families choosing between staying warm and paying bills. That's why I want to tell you about this revolutionary portable heater. It's exactly what Linda McMahon is talking about: efficient solutions without government waste. This compact powerhouse heats any room instantly while slashing your energy bills. Visit staywarmnow.com for an incredible 60% off and free shipping. Don't let the establishment freeze you out. Take control of your heating costs today. The link is in the description. Okay, so America's First Works posted this is our next Secretary of Education, and this is what Linda McMahon will do. I think this is her opening statement earlier today.
Empower states. Fund education freedom, not government-run systems. Listen to parents, not politicians. Build up careers, not college debt. Empower states, not special interests. Invest in teachers, not Washington bureaucrats. Fund education freedom, not government-run systems. Listen to parents, not politicians.
Fund education freedom. Yeah. Listen to parents. Build careers, not college debt. Empower states, not special interests. Yeah. Invest in teachers and not Washington bureaucrats. That is what we need to do. The Department of Education, this is what she said, was set up in 1980, and since that time has spent $1 trillion. Listen to this.
$1 trillion. The bottom line is because it's not working. Department of Education was set up in 1980, and since that time we have spent almost $1 trillion, and we have watched our performance scores continue to go down. I do believe that it is a responsibility to make sure that our children do have equal access to excellent education. I think that that is best handled at the state level, closest to the states, working with state administrators, teachers, parents, who should have input into their curriculum.
Oh, and we're not done yet. We have this from Bernie Sanders asking Linda McMahon about inequality in American education. And she says that's why we need school choice, right? If there's inequality, just have more choices.
Much, Senator, for that.
We are living in a society where the people on top are doing phenomenally well, while 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And how do you think that impacts our educational system?
Thank you very much, Senator, for that question. First of all, let me say that I believe that teaching is one of the most noble professions that we have in our country, and we have so many good, dedicated teachers to help our students. I do think that we are trapping students often in low-performing schools, and that's why the president has such a strong policy towards school choice.
But you
a strong policy towards school choice. That's how we fix this thing. Elon Musk had this to say 18 hours ago. When not wasting money on bureaucracy, the Department of Education has been funding anti-Americanism, gender nonsense, and anti-meritocratic racism. He was quote tweeting Mario Nafal, where your education tax dollars went, and it wasn't to students. The Department of Education has been burning through taxpayer money on contracts that have nothing to do with improving student outcomes. They spent $4.6 billion just to coordinate Zoom and in-person meetings, $3 million on a report that concluded prior reports weren't even used, and $1.4 million to physically observe mailing and clerical operations. We covered that the other day. Instead of fixing schools, they're funding pointless bureaucracy. And what is their source? Well, of course, it is the DOGE. Yeah, the DOGE boys are taking action in D.C., and the Department of Education is in their crosshairs, and every single day we're learning more. You know, you might ask yourself, well, Gary, you talked about the Department of Education the other day. Well, that was just the beginning. You know, we talked about USAID. That was just the beginning. So as each individual bureaucratic monolith comes into focus by this agency, we learn more and more. And now with the DOGE website coming online, we're going to have an even closer look at what happens behind the scenes. I mean, these are really exciting days we're living in. We've never had an opportunity to take this kind of a close hands-on look at what's happening. And of course, as we just reported, now the DOGE agents are auditing the IRS. So buckle up, because the IRS is in the crosshairs next. Here we have this. Protesters interrupting Linda McMahon.
And appreciate that they're here. So Thank you, Chairman Cassidy, Ranking Member Sanders, and distinguished members of the committee.
Yeah, well, they are, you know, they can have their voice heard, sure, but they just make themselves look like a fool. Democrat Senator Ed Markey says he will vote against Linda McMahon's confirmation. He's joined by a bunch of teachers' union bosses. Of course he is. The teachers' unions don't want this stuff shut down.
The Secretary, I am going to vote against Linda McMahon to be the Secretary of Education in the United States of America.
Well, it's a good thing that, you know, you're up there and you're complaining, but you're just exposing yourself. Linda McMahon is in the building for her confirmation hearing. Linda McMahon's Education Secretary designate is her full opening statement before the HELP Committee.
Having them here today. And thank you very much, Chairman Cassidy. Yes, I'd like to introduce my daughter, Stephanie McMahon, Paul Levesque, her husband, and my son, Shane McMahon. I'm so happy to have them here, and many friends have come from far places, so I welcome having them here today and appreciate that they're here. So, thank you, Chairman Cassidy, Ranking Member Sanders, and distinguished members of the committee. I'm honored to have your consideration to serve as the Secretary of the Department of Education. And I'd like to thank both Senators Scott and Britt for their introductions. Certainly. And I'd like to thank both Senators Scott and Britt for their introductions and for the opportunity to welcome my friends and family. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. I would also like to thank President Trump for his confidence in me to lead a department whose mission and authority were a special focus of his campaign. He pledged to make American education the best in the world, return education to the states where it belongs, and free American students from the education bureaucracy through school choice. November proved that Americans overwhelmingly support the president's vision, and I am ready to enact it. Education is the issue that determines our national success and prepares American workers to win the future. I've been passionate about education since my earliest college days when I studied to earn a teaching certificate. This has continued through my business career as a Connecticut State Board of Education member, as a university trustee, and as the chair of the America First Policy Institute, which advocates for workforce development, parental choice, and accountability in higher education. I'm also a mother and a grandmother, and I join millions of American parents who want better schools for our kids and grandkids. The legacy of our nation's leadership in education is one that every person in this room embraces with pride. Unfortunately, many Americans today are experiencing a system in decline. The latest scores from the nation's report card show achievement in K through 12 math and reading at their lowest level in years. More than 2/3 of public colleges are beset by violent crime on campuses every year. And most tragically, student suicide rates have dramatically increased over the last 2 decades. We can do better. We can do better for the elementary and junior high school student by teaching basic reading and mathematics, for the college freshman facing censorship or anti-Semitism on campus, and for parents and grandparents who worry that their children and grandchildren are no longer taught American values and true history. In many cases, our wounds are caused by the excessive consolidation of power in our federal education establishment. So what's the remedy? Fund education freedom, not government-run systems. Listen to parents, not politicians. Build up careers, not college debt. Empower states, not special interests. Invest in teachers, not Washington bureaucrats. If confirmed as secretary, I will work with Congress to reorient the department toward helping educators, not controlling them. My experience as a business owner and leader of the Small Business Administration, as a public servant in the state of Connecticut, and more than a decade of service as a college trustee has taught me to put parents, teachers, and students, not bureaucracy, first. Outstanding teachers are tired of political ideology in their curriculum and red tape on their desks. And that's why school choice is a growing movement across the nation. It offers teachers and parents an alternative to classrooms that are micromanaged from Washington, D.C. We should also emphasize career-focused education, especially in cutting-edge STEM fields, where American companies need high-skilled employees. Our workers deserve more post-secondary pathways, career-aligned programs, apprenticeships, and on-the-job learning, and jobs in tech, skilled trades, and healthcare for non-college degree holders. Those who do attend college deserve transparent costs and courses of study aligned to workforce demand. The United States is the world leader by far in emerging technologies like AI and blockchain, and we need to invest in American students who want to become tech pioneers. We should encourage innovative new institutions, develop smart accountability systems, and tear down barriers to entry so that students have real choice and universities are not saddling future families with unsurmountable debt. We must protect all students from discrimination and harassment. And if I am confirmed, the department will not stand idly by while Jewish students are attacked and discriminated against. It will stop forcing schools to let boys and men into female sports and spaces. And it will protect the rights of parents to direct the moral education of their children. The opportunity before us these next 4 years is momentous. I look forward to working with the committee, our nation's parents, teachers, and students, and education leaders from all political perspectives to build a better future for every American learner. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you today, and I look forward to your questions.
There we are. There's Linda McMahon. We've got some more in this segment we want to get to in the posse. Let's keep going here. That was Linda McMahon. Who else we have? We got Tulsi Gabbard. Let's see what's going on with her. Let's see. She went in and she thanked APAC, ADL, and the Council on Foreign Relations privately for their role in securing her nomination. Ooh. That's really interesting. Thanking the Council on Foreign Relations? Okay. My spidey senses are tingling, especially she's talking about APAC and she's talking about the ADL. Okay. This is the Post. Thank you, real Donald Trump, for the privilege and opportunity to serve your great country and the American people as your Director of National Intelligence. Mile High Brother was quote tweeting Tulsi Gabbard, so I'm not sure if he's trying to be sarcastic because she's thanking Donald Trump and bringing that up. Maybe he's trying to connect Trump to Council on Foreign Relations or something. But Scott Ritter had this to say: "The reckoning is here. Trump and Tulsi Gabbard are purging the deep state. FBI traitors, corrupt officials, and assassination conspirators are being hunted down. Guantanamo Bay is expanding. Military tribunals are locked in. Justice will be swift and unforgiving. Treason is on the horizon for some folks." That's what they say. The other day, we brought up how she exposed the biolabs in Ukraine, and we are going to continue to watch how this unfolds. Also, Modi, the Prime Minister of India, he was in town today here. As you know, I'm broadcasting live from the swamp right now in Washington, D.C. Narendra Modi met the USA Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, in Washington, congratulated her on her confirmation, discussed various aspects of the India-U.S. friendship, in which she will always be a strong votary. Here's some imagery of them meeting together. Let's see, we also got some more. So that's from the Tulsi Gabbard front. What else have we got here in the posse? We got Linda McMahon. We've got, Kash Patel. Let's check in and see what's going on with Kash Patel. This was 11 hours ago as his confirmation continues to move through Washington, D.C. Kash Patel's nomination passed a committee vote by 12 to 10. So this is really good news. We need to get Kash at the head of the FBI.
After we vote on the favorably reporting the nomination of Kash Patel to be Director of Federal Bureau of Investigation, the clerk will call the roll.
Aye.
Aye.
You spin it then.
Aye.
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 No.
Of course.
No. That's no by proxy. No by proxy.
No. Of course.
No. Aye. The vote of 12 to 10, the nomination will be favorably reported to the.
Yep, and Kash Patel moves right along. Here is the Texas one posting this. You're exactly right. Kash Patel will haunt you for eternity.
Every piece of who defends us against Russian intelligence operations and Russia's criminal operations in the United States. It's the FBI, it's the Department of Justice, and it's our intelligence community. The people in charge of each one have sent powerful signals that they are shutting down our defenses when it comes to Russia. And we're about to head to the Munich Security Conference, where we are seeing Mr. Art of the Deal and his operatives giving away every piece of leverage that we have over Putin with respect to Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
It is unilateral disarmament to throw Ukraine under the bus and give Putin what he wants. So mark my words. This Patel guy will come back to haunt you. Every piece of evidence shows that, and it is not Democrat evidence. It's his own words, it's his own colleagues, and it's judges evaluating his credibility.
Yeah, he is going to come back to haunt you. That's for sure. That's just more rabid talking points. Oh, the Russia is Russia, right? Here is just a day ago, Paul Zipula posting this. Adam Schiff literally ran away from a question by the Charles Downs about Senate Judiciary Democrats slow walking the confirmation, and Schiff just, look at him, literally running here. He looks like he got loomered.
Senator Schiff, are Senate Judiciary Democrats slow walking Kash Patel's confirmation as FBI director so the FBI can keep warning illegal immigrants?
Wow, dude, he totally ran away from them. Okay, Mark Wayne Mullen, 5 hours ago, posting this. The radical left and their media allies lost their minds over Pete Hegseth, DNI Gabbard, and Robert Kennedy Jr. We tuned it out and confirmed them anyway. Kash Patel cleared his Senate Judiciary GOP vote today. We'll confirm him next week. This is the quickest pace since 2001.
And not just, hey guys, next week we're going to finish Kash Patel. And I want to remind you something. When we first started this fight, the liberal media was saying that we're not going to confirm him. I mean, what is he thinking? What's the president thinking by getting these people together? What he's proven is he wanted someone different. And he wanted people that had a lot of tenacity that would fight. And not just fight for the United States, but also begin the fight by making sure that they win the vote of the Senate. And they've done it. I was bullish from the get-go, from Pete Hegseth, Bobby Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, and the list goes on. I said we're going to get these individuals confirmed. Now, that doesn't mean that I won the day. They won it. They came up here every single day. They met with the senators. They put in the time. They shared their vision with what President Trump wanted to get done and what they want to do inside the agencies, and put these agencies back on track for the American people and get them away from fighting just for one woke Democrat party. American people want that, and the president and his cabinet is delivering on that.
And we are going to continue to deliver as we expose the truth about the Democrats and their slow walking as they run from the cameras. They run from accountability, but they're not going to be able to run for very long. Kash Patel's nomination has moved forward from the Senate Judiciary Committee with a vote of 12 to 10. And we are going to send a message to any senator in the GOP that decides to vote against them that you will be primaried. Yes, you will. So think about what we just witnessed. The woman who helped build a billion-dollar empire just looked Bernie Sanders in the eye and said what we've all been thinking: school choice is the answer. The same education system that's been failing our children for decades, well, she's about to turn it upside down. The bureaucrats who have been getting rich off our tax dollars, gone. The special interests who've been pushing their agenda in their classroom, done. But here's what's interesting. Elon Musk has just exposed how they have been spending, how much they've been spending on anti-Americanism, gender nonsense, and anti-meritocratic racism. The numbers are staggering. So here's the question no one's asking. If our education system is so great, why are teachers sending their own kids to private schools? Tell us what you think below. And take a stand for education and freedom. Grab your exclusive MAG Avengers gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and show the world that you are in the fight. Okay, folks, how we doing? Everything good? I'm trying to keep my voice is projected, but still, respectful to our neighbors here. Let's see. We do have a new member. Deanna Maria has just become a member. So welcome to the family, Deanna, just a few minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, in fact. And let's check in on the main chat room real quick and see what else you guys are saying. We are, let's see, you shouldn't assume that others don't know their scriptures because you would be surprised. Jonathan Floming, another gift of membership, and Johnny's Appleseed received it. So thank you, Jonathan Floming, for supporting the network here. Mike Taylor News, he says, I bet it's not just money, or people with money supporting Biden. Most of them are probably blackmailed. Yeah, well, that's how it operates in DC. The dims are apoplectic. Your audio is fine. Thank you, Stanford Hotel. Gary and Brian, what's up? Love you too, Pothead Kenny. Did the Biden administration hire all the Antifa feds? Is that why we haven't seen them at a protest? What, they've got jobs now? All right, let's get on to our next topic of the evening here. We're going to take a look at what's happening on the ICE front, shall we? Remember, they told us that nothing could be done about the border crisis, that sanctuary cities were here to stay. Well, something remarkable just happened. In New York City, Mayor Adams just reopened the ICE office at Rikers Island. Yeah, the same mayor who once called himself the leader of a sanctuary city. Believe it or not, it's happening. But here's what's really interesting. This came right after his meeting with the border czar, Tom Homan. Now, AOC is hosting webinars on how to evade ICE. Think about that. A sitting congresswoman actively working to obstruct federal law enforcement. But that is just the beginning. All right. And as President Trump is taking control of our borders, Americans are taking control of their energy bills. While illegal immigration costs taxpayers billions, I found a way to save you money every month. This revolutionary device stabilizes electrical current and reduces energy waste. Just plug it in and watch your bills drop. It's what the power companies don't want you to know about. So visit don'twastepower.com for a shocking 65% off and free shipping. That's right. Take back control of your energy costs, just like Trump is taking back control of our borders. Representative Brandon Gill, this is 24 hours ago, breaking news. Representative Brandon Gill promotes a petition to arrest Ilhan Omar and deport her back to Somalia. Is that something you guys would agree with? I have a feeling many of you would. Well, it looks like there is a petition by Representative Brandon Gill that is going to do just that. Here we have more. Leading report, arrest and deport. Now, this was discussed years ago. It was talked about Ilhan Omar marrying her brother to get around immigration law, and this whole argument has now resurfaced. Maybe it's because Donald Trump's in office. Maybe it's because we have somebody who actually cares about enforcing the immigration law. And if this proves to be true, and I mean, I think she's even admitted it, she could be facing some very stiff penalties. So that's pretty wild, right? So we have this too. Mayor Eric Adams announced after meeting with the border czar Tom Homan and federal law enforcement, the city is moving forward with an executive order to reinstate ICE operations Rikers Island. Expect many prisoners to be deported in the near future. That's huge. So Adams promising to reopen ICE office at Rikers following his meeting with Holman. AOC organizing webinars with strategies to avoid ICE. Is that legal? Well, we already know that Tom Homan has said that he is going to use the full force of federal law against anybody who is aiding and abetting the crimes against this country when it comes to actually enforcing immigration law. So if AOC is in fact doing this, she could be looking at some serious ramifications for her actions. So we've got some headlines. AOC organizes webinar with strategies to avoid ICE. We've got this. Trends of ICE arrests in New York system. This is Ocasio-Cortez on Facebook. This is what she posted at Holmes early in the morning. So she's basically pointing out the trends of when these ICE raids occur, in a sense, tipping off any illegals so that they can be prepared. You can read it on your screen. I'm not going to promote these ideas, but you can see that she's promoting it and giving people a heads up. We've also got this, another post here from Ocasio-Cortez Facebook, common tactics of ICE arrests, and they use ruses, she's saying here. How crazy is this? That she's actually revealing the tactics of ICE. Holy cow. And then we have more. Another post. This looks like a slideshow from the webinar that AOC hosted, apparently on Facebook. Excuse me. ICE in public. These are like on my screen. You can see it right there. The tactics that the illegals can use to supposedly exert the rights they believe they have here in this country. Many would argue they don't have those rights because they are not actual citizens, and the Constitution only applies to citizens of this great nation. Here's Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signing new legislation requiring law enforcement to help with Trump's deportation. This is great news. This was 7 hours ago. A couple days ago, we brought this. He made the announcement. Now it is becoming official. So let's listen into this moment here. Okay, so clearly it is a Okay, so clearly it's a signing session here with the Florida governor. They write here that it's the strongest immigration state level law in the entire nation. So this is history being made in Florida, a deep red state. Let's continue as we take a look at the latest from ICE. HSI Chicago 5 hours ago. ICE Indianapolis arrested a Venezuelan citizen with ties to Tren de Aragua and wanted by Chilean authorities on kidnapping charges. His arrest highlights the strong collaboration between U.S. law enforcement and international partners to tackle organized crime. So yet another criminal has been taken off the street. This is great stuff. Here's more on that. The New York mayor reopening the ICE office at Rikers Island. They say here the former NYPD chief, Bernard Carrick, who I actually met, says there are 16,000 beds on the island, 16,000 beds on the island, 6,000 in the 5 boroughs. It's definitely not the Roosevelt Hotel. So many of them will probably want to leave on their own, and it was a good move. So when the illegals find out they're going to Rikers, they're going to say, oh no, maybe we should get the hell out of this state. Maybe we should go back home. Here we have more J.D. Vance news 24 hours ago. Do you support Kristi Noem prosecuting everyone involved in leaking the ICE immigration raid, even FBI officials? Yes or no? It's a great question. Well, Kristi Noem, she made the allegations. She's the head of the Department of Homeland Security now, so she has deep insight into all communications and all the goings on underneath her in this in all these different bureaucracies. Tom Homan has even said they know the leak came from the FBI, and they will go to the fullest extent of the law to prosecute these people. Here we have Jim Jordan demanding that anyone leaking information to criminal arrests aliens about ICE must be arrested. Let's listen.
That I think both Tom Homan and Pam Bondi have talked about, where it looks like sometimes people are tipping off the bad guys, the people with a criminal background who Tom Homan is coming in to rightfully repatriate out of the country, repatriate back to their home country. And they're getting tipped off in it. And I think Tom Homan said it looks like it may have been an FBI agent who did that. Well, you can't do that. That's like helping the bad guys when and endangering law enforcement members potentially. So that when you're doing these kind of things, I think criminal prosecution should be something that's definitely in play.
And wouldn't it be treason? Like you're acting against federal law enforcement and you're helping out the criminals. It's like crazy.
You're not supposed to help the bad guys, and if you do, you're probably in trouble. And we should probably prosecute people who do those things.
Jim Jordan wouldn't go as far as to call it treason, but many in America would say, yeah, this is definitely what it is. Let's continue to take a look here. Wow, I'm not sure what this is. This is a humanoid bee. 2 minutes of pure gold to avoid ICE. I'm not sure if this is parody. Kind of looks like something from the Babylon Bee. I'm almost afraid to open it up and listen to it. Here we go. Go back to your own couch. Of course, this is parody.
But effective. Tip number 2. Obey immigration laws. Studies show the best way to avoid being charged with a crime is to not do anything to break the law.
That seems pretty simple to me. Also, this 9 hours ago, Gavin Newsom has folded to President Trump and will veto a bill that would expand California's sanctuary state law by protecting convicted criminals in California prisons from deportation. The bill would ban California prison system from notifying ICE about release dates. Well, Gavin Newsom is seeing the light, or maybe he's afraid of going to prison for aiding and abetting, as Tom Homan has clearly threatened, and because they've already sued and they've put charges against the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago. They're doing the same thing in New York. So maybe Gavin Newsom's like, maybe we shouldn't play the same game that's going over there in Illinois and New York. So California, Gavin Newsom probably wetting the bed every night, worrying about if the next raid's going to be at his house. A manhunt apparently underway for an illegal who did something horrible to the 11th victim, who happened to be, you can see the age on the screen. ICE let him free last year, so this is 24 hours ago. We're learning now that there is a manhunt underway. In New York, hundreds gather at Sunset Park. In Brooklyn, the man here is trying to manipulate children into organizing a walkout during school hours to protest ICE raids. What are you going to do? Like, this is the stupidest thing. Of course, I am all for free speech and the right to assemble. But sometimes these people are really acting against the best interests of our country. Here we have this. Liberal sanctuary cities like Boston refuse to honor ICE detainers, even those on illegal aliens charged with heinous crimes. I don't even want to say those words on the screen, but you can see it. It's disgusting. Here we have more Bill Maloogian, one of the fiercest reporters in the industry when it comes to covering the border and the illegal invasion that occurred under the Biden administration, which is now being curtailed under the Trump administration. He says, I've covered a lot of illegal immigration-related stories around the country in recent years. Massachusetts is the only state that frequently releases illegal aliens charged with aggravated, you see it on the screen, and refuses to cooperate with ICE on detainer requests for them. So Bill Maloogian recognizing that Boston is like one of the worst offenders. So maybe Boston is going to get a clue after seeing what Gavin Newsom's doing, after what we saw the Trump administration do against Illinois and New York. Cat Turd says, arrest the traitor. AOC hosting a webinar on how to evade ICE, has migrant science DHS forms so her office can intervene. Here's Tucker Carlson calling out John Cornyn on his program. This is just 11 hours ago.
But we all know that walls.
So why not pass a law that says any elected official who opposes the building of a border wall is prohibited from putting a lock on the front door of his house?
Well, that would affect a lot of Republicans. I mean, my own senator, John Cornyn, because he's been against the border wall, saying it wouldn't work. But we all know that walls do work. I've seen it. I've seen how it works. The Border Patrol.
Why would John Cornyn be opposed to a border wall protecting his own state?
I don't understand it. I've seen quotes from him. I've seen video clips from him over and over how it's not enough. It doesn't work.
But he's helped appropriate billions and billions and billions of dollars for border security in other countries.
I know it's really odd that he thinks it works other places, but it doesn't work in Texas. He's sort of mocked it.
I'd love to hear him mock Israel's border walls. Do you think he will?
No.
Oh, I'd love to hear him mock Ukraine's territorial integrity. Do you think he will?
Nope.
Oh, the hypocrisy is deep. Oh, we have more. Eric Darty posting this clip here. I share this GOP Florida lawmaker's passion. To call illegals dreamers implies they have dreams and ambitions that are greater than other people. There are 193 countries in the world. We didn't swear an oath to help the other 192. We swore an oath to help one. That's the truth. We have more Chairwoman Lisa McClain. President Trump is keeping his promise. Illegal immigrants are turning around at the border. ICE is deporting thousands of violent illegal aliens. America is becoming more secure because of POTUS. She was quoting rapid response. Reverse flow. Illegal immigrants streaming back home after being blocked by Trump's border. It's happening. And take a look at this. What the heck is going on here? This is 9 hours ago. Federal prosecutors caught the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua running multi-state trafficking operation in America. What is this? This is footage of the border, the trafficking situation that's taking place there. So Florida prosecutors have finally gone in and they've found some of the ringleaders that are a part of this. I'm sure this is just part of the effort that the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, he just signed an executive order. So you can see that Florida is not playing around. So we need to find out more of this. And of course, remember the Pope, right? The Pope signing an angry letter about the Trump administration. And here it looks like we have this discussion about the Pope on CNN. And of course, we have our favorite CNN commentator, Scott Jennings. Let's hear what's going on.
And I think it is an important point that he's trying to say, well, you're supposed to really only care about your family first, and then maybe later you care about other people. But as Father Beck is saying, as the Pope is saying, the Bible actually teaches otherwise.
I know, but isn't it kind of irrelevant? We don't live in a theocracy. We live in the United States.
Wait a minute.
Wait,
Your party, though, to have the shroud of religion.
I thought we were in a Judeo-Christian society.
We are, but we have a constitution.
Organized according to Judeo-Christian.
But Abby, we live
I thought that the 10 Commandments should be taught to kids in the schools.
Abby,
What about the war on Christmas?
So we live under a constitution. We live under laws.
And I think it is an important point that he's trying to say, well, you're supposed to
Okay,
really
so
only care.
there we have it. What's happening in Florida, mandating law enforcement cooperation with ICE. Gavin Newsom, yes, that Gavin Newsom folded under Trump's pressure on sanctuary state policies. Now we're seeing what they call a reverse flow. Illegal immigrants actually turning around at the border and heading home. Why? Because they know Trump means business. But here's what's really fascinating. The Pope has issued a major rebuke of these deportations. The same Pope who lives behind the biggest walls in Europe. Meanwhile, the Venezuelan gang they told us didn't exist. Well, federal prosecutors caught them in a multi-state trafficking operation. And here's what everyone should be asking. If sanctuary cities make us safer, why all of a sudden are they begging for ICE to return? Share your thoughts below. And of course, defend the border in style with our exclusive Next News gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. It's linked below. Show your support for law and order. All right. Brian, you can't do that, man. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at what you guys are saying in the chat room. Well, when I'm in the middle of a clip and I need to cut back to it, and you're trying to adjust the volume, I am watching my timeline, and you are not allowing me to cut back. And then we have a repeat of the clip. So you need to. I understand what you're doing. You're trying to adjust the volume, making sure the show's good. I get it. Okay. Martial law, says Karen. I was expressed when President Trump said "fight, fight, fight" after being shot. We all know that was a setup that God blocked. Amen. Big moves require a foundation, says Mean You. Mike Taylor News. I feel sorry for people that don't know Joe Biden literally wrote the racist crime bill, incarcerated and discriminated on the great black people during using the cops. Martial Law has gifted one Next News Network membership. Thank you for doing that. I did that for the Drum King. He was the lucky recipient. And do we have any more super chats to speak of? I want to just make sure we got everybody. Okay, so Martial Law says, I was gifted a membership a few hours ago, and I'm loving the behind the scenes content. I'm about to pay it forward to someone else. Thank you, Martial Law. Awesome. And that comes also, Antonio Chris just became a member. Johnny Appleseed was gifted a membership, and Muddy Falcon just dropped $10 in the jar. He says, a website, we can allocate our service mandated taxes personally to fill budgets you want to, allowing competition for services to reduce prices, open transparency on all budgets, congressionalize us. I guess it sounds like what you're talking about is like the DOGE website. Go to doge.gov and start having some fun, guys. We need to crowdsource the truth. And if we all go and dig through the DOGE, start publishing what's there on X, a lot of people are going to be waking up. So we're living in some fascinating times right now. You guys are all part of it. And as you know, I got my White House hard pass today. So excited for this. Just had a text message exchange with Chanel Rion. She has a tent on site there, and hoping that I can. She said anytime I'm in DC, I could use their tent and just book the time, and so that's going to be awesome. Looking totally forward to that. Okay, what else have we got here? Let's take a look at the feed before we take off for the night. It's 11:30 here on the East Coast in the swamp, but I want to make sure because we got to get these posts out. We've got to get these segments cut, and we need to continue our mission here. But tomorrow I will be taking the day off. Yes, it's Valentine's Day, and my wife and I are going to go have a beautiful dinner in the swamp. We're going to celebrate this victory right here. Our press passes approved for the White House, and might even just pop in to the White House tomorrow and see what's going on. You never know. Diane Melnick, glad you had a great day. Well, Diane, thank you so much, and I really appreciate that. And Diane was my mother's name, so whenever I see that, I always goes right here. I lost my mother some years ago, so it's always a pleasant surprise when I see her name pop up. Okay, we've got this Douglas Mackey. Let's see, we elected Trump to smash the whole system of deep state unelecteds running the country. So that's great. We're seeing that happening now. Great news. Nicole Shanahan will be taking an advisory role to HHS Secretary for RFK Jr. She was his vice presidential pick, and now she will be serving as an advisor in the HHS. And some of the stuff that she has been posting on social media lately, excuse me, really shows that she has come a very far way, a long way. What's also interesting too, I was talking to Roger Stone, and he was livid when she was selected. And Roger Stone's even come around. He said, the things I said about Nicole Shanahan before, I was completely wrong, and I was out of line. And it's really cool to see even Roger Stone recognizing some of the good work that we're seeing coming from Nicole Shanahan. Now, Elon Musk says this 5 hours ago. Any judge anywhere can stop every presidential action everywhere. We do not live in a democracy. Boom. Chris Pavlovsky, the president, posting on Rumble, and this is the link that he posted. and Chris Pavlovsky was in the press room yesterday. So that was really awesome to see. And of course, we're going to find out how we can get that special seat soon, not just to be there, just to cover, the day-to-day happenings, but to actually be in that special designated jump seat for the new media, so we can ask the questions that matter and maybe even crowdsource those questions from you guys. Excuse me. I love you guys. It's been a long week. We'll be back next week. Of course, I'll be in studio on Monday as normal, and then and then Tuesday, traveling back to the swamp here for CPAC. I'll be in a different hotel room, and we'll do the entire show from CPAC. We'll have our some of our crew with us. Zach Voorhees, Adam Lowitz, Tom McCullough, and Chad Lavreau will all be with me. And so we're going to go in. We're going to go in strong. Make sure you follow all those guys on X. Make sure you're following us on X so you can get the latest information. And of course, we'll be doing all the roundups with what everyone collects when they post to X on our behalf. So it's going to be a great next week. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. Make sure you're there for it. So an incredible show that it's been. We've covered a lot of ground right here in Washington, D.C., where earlier today I did witness history being made in the White House press room. And if you're joining us, you really missed something remarkable. So let's be clear, though, about what we've seen in just one day, a single day. President Trump has completely reshaped the American government. 93 Biden prosecutors gone. The entire DOJ establishment transformed, and that was just the beginning. RFK Jr., now officially our new Secretary of Health and Human Services. The same man they tried to silence for years is now in charge of the entire health apparatus. Big Pharma is in complete meltdown, and for good reason, because they know it's coming. Then there's Linda McMahon. While the teachers' unions were busy pushing their agenda in our classrooms, she walked into the confirmation hearing and did something extraordinary. She told the truth about our failing education system. $1 trillion spent since 1980, and our kids can't even read. That's about to change. And how about the DOGE committee? God, I love it. $3 million for steroid-enhanced hamster fighting, $600,000 for parrot romance. You can't make this stuff up, but thanks to their investigation, we now know exactly where our tax dollars have been going, and it's worse than anyone ever imagined. And finally, the border. ICE is back at Rikers Island. Sanctuary cities are falling like dominoes. Even Gavin Newsom is backing down. The same people who told us nothing could be done about illegal immigration are now watching it reverse course in real time. Here's the thing. None of this happens without you. The mainstream media wants to shut us down. Big tech wants to silence us. That's why we need your support now more than ever. The links to donate are in the description. Keep this operation going. You want to see us just go from city to city? We've got this mobile system. We can do it now better than ever, but it costs money. We've got to get hotel rooms that can accommodate this type of equipment. We've got to get planes. We've got to move. We've got to go places. We've got to take action. And of course, with this new press pass to go to the White House, I intend to be back here more often than not. So this is only the beginning. What you witnessed today, what our members saw today in the behind-the-scenes stuff, you guys know that we're really doing the work. So make sure, if you want to support us, become a member, make a donation. You can find the link down there. Every dollar helps us keep bringing you the truth that they don't want to hear. And to everyone who sent in super chats and rumble rants tonight, we see you, we hear you. $91.96. Are we going to hit 100? We're only about $9 away. Let's hit $100 tonight, and I can tell Angie, and we can celebrate. And of course, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so make sure you give a big squeeze to your loved one, give them a big kiss, and tell them that you love them. Because remember, guys, you are the reason we do this. Your voice matters, and we are going to keep amplifying it. So before you go, don't forget to check out our merch shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Did you get yourself a Next News hat yet? I mean, you sit here, you watch this show every night. You might as well get yourself a Next News Network hat or even a T-shirt, right? The gear isn't clothing. It's a statement. Remember, it tells the world you're part of this movement. Okay, imagine going to the grocery store with your Next News Network hat and someone goes, "Hey, man, you watch Next News Network?" Yeah, I watch it too. So tell a friend about what you saw tonight and share the stream because what happened today is not just news, it's history, and you were here to witness it with me. And we got a super chat from Alice Searcy. What's up, Alice? She says, get some rest. Yeah, it's been a really long day. Seriously, a very long day. Radio shows in the morning all the way up till 11:30 at night at the White House all day. Listen, we don't slow down here. You guys are the reason we do it. I am obligated to you. I'm obligated to this country, and I'm obligated to God to keep preaching the truth and exposing the darkness, just with the truth and light, man. That's what it is. So, Alice Cersei dropping 1999. Get some rest. I hope you don't go out for 6 weeks. Like me? What happened? I don't know. Parmis Dax put this towards a new suit and tie, Gary. Wait, was something wrong with my last one? A new suit and tie? I just bought that thing. No, I'm gonna get back in the gym, and that thing ain't gonna fit anymore. I'm gonna have to get my. Well, I've got other nice suits that actually fit when I was didn't weigh as much. So just gotta get the weight back down. Okay, but Parmis, thank you for that $5. Much appreciated, sincerely. This is Gary Franchi reporting from Washington, D.C. for the Raw Feed. We'll see you on Monday as the revolution continues.